Hey, this is Sasha Gervasi. I'm the director of Anvil.
And this is Andrew Dickler, film editor.
And Rebecca Yeldon, producer, Anvil.
Rebecca could tell us about how easy it was to clear this footage from 1984. It took, what was it?
Nightmare!
Was it 2 years?
Nightmare!
Didn't we have to hire a Japanese attorney in Tokyo?
Japanese attorney in New York, attorney in California. Anyway,
It was the most
it's all
complicated.
good.
It worked out well.
It's
It took 2
all
years
good.
till all the various artists agreed. It wasn't them, it was more their people, layers of people, till they would finally agree to be
And the
part of it.
bankrupt Japanese promoter who disappeared. We couldn't source the rights holder on the footage, but anyway, it's
It was a
all
nightmare.
good.
Just on the eve of Sundance, we were nearly prevented from showing the film because we didn't have permission to do it.
I
but
don't
we
think you
just-
should get into this because
Okay,
it's
we're
a
not getting into
universal
it.
release.
Okay,
We don't want them to think about
There's
litigation
Squirrely on the
costs.
left, the rhythm guitarist in Anvil. That's Lips, of course. Squirrely is wearing a zebra unitard given to him by a Japanese stripper. That's actually
Do you want to
true
talk
on the
about how
left.
he got the name Squirrely?
Squirrely because he has gigantic testicles that were huge, giant nuts, apparently. Okay, Andrew?
Look at this crowd. It's a great crowd. You know, this opening of the film went through a lot of different versions, and it was in various different places, too. And I just, one thing I remember about it was Jeff Renfro added the very last shot of it before we get to the title. You'll see it's the very last headbang, and it felt really good when he tacked that very last change, and we knew we
And
had it.
it's very evocative, all this stuff. And here we have all the luminaries. Scott Ian from Anthrax, that was shot in my backyard. There's Lips. And Lars Ulrich, we went up to San Francisco, and he actually, I think you can see it on the DVD, he talked to us for 27 minutes about Anvil. What an incredible fan. Lemmy, we shot in the studio.
27?
27 minutes. It's
Sasha actually has an orange couch in his backyard. It's
where we shot Scott. That's Malcolm Doane shot on my friend Claire's couch in London.
And that was shot on my couch. That's the Lars Ulrich.
And that is actually a couch. But it's speaking. No, Lars was amazing. I mean, couldn't have been more generous and very cool with us, and wanted really
that's the butt shot.
wanted to give back to the Lips and the band. The famous Ross Halfin pictures.
God
from
bless you, Ross.
1982,
Ross
and
has been such
I think less said the better.
whoa.
That was shot in my garage. There is slash of light, very artistic. Yeah, this was quite an endeavor to get the sequence to work. There is the famous marital aid. He traveled with a trunk of them. It was confiscated at Japanese customs. 3-speed, and it really did make an interesting sound when you heard the band live. It was quite something, especially with that sort of movement and the cop piece. Tom Araya from Slayer, we shot him in Dallas. He was amazing. He had a collection of skulls in his fireplace.
He even
he
came
did.
to Sundance for our first screening. God bless him. He flew himself in, he and his wife, and they were there to support us.
They were
the first time we
fantastic.
showed the film.
As did Scott Ian from Anthrax, and Slash came out and played with the band at Sundance. There's Rob. They're talking about Rob, and he truly was, at that point, I would say probably the best heavy metal drummer in the world. I mean, look at him. What a rock star.
Tell
And
your
Lars-
Robb Reiner story about when you first saw Spinal Tap.
Yeah, I thought that the director of Spinal Tap, it was directed by Robb Reiner. I thought they were talking about my friend. I had no idea there was another Robb Reiner at that point. And there's Slash. He's just been an amazing supporter of the film. He's written the foreword to the Anvil book. Scott in my backyard. Again, Anthrax started as an Anvil cover band. They would play 5 or 6 songs each of the Metal on Metal album. And Lemmy,
I don't know if there was an isolation.
what do you think about this, Andrew? This was kind of a nice section to work on for us, I think.
Yeah, it was great having all these, luminaries of metal.
And you wanted to get into the reasons why, intimated why Anvil had never really happened back in the day. And look at them, they're showing such promise. And yet, they were the only band on the bill that day that didn't really fulfill that potential. I think all the other bands between them sold, 100 million records or something.
And there it is. the
That
last
great
shot.
Jeff Renfro shot, one of the
Yes.
many beautiful touches he added to the film.
Oh, and this is our dear friend Andy
Goldman, brilliant,
who
did the
came up with a
titles.
beautiful title
right
design.
through the V.
Right through. I remember this was bitterly cold. I think this was the second day we shot. I was huddled in the car with Lips, Chris Seuss, and our amazing cameraman Chris Seuss, and our amazing intrepid soundman Matt Dennis. And you can hear Lips talking here. And
This is a fantastic sequence of him talking about food here. I mean,
just so you know, this is heavily edited. He did actually talk about lasagna for 14 minutes. And I'm not exaggerating. It was extraordinary.
And the rallying between the meatballs.
It was good to rally
And
between
it's good to rally
meatballs
between
and
meatballs
mashed
and shepherd's
potatoes
pie.
Shepherd's pie. That is an Anvil toque, which is a Canadian name for a winter hat.
Out of the order from the week before. If you
yes, and when Lips found out that we were going to make toques for Sundance, he looked at me and he said, but the place that actually manufactured that toque
That he's wearing.
has been making toques for 80, 90 years, recently went out of business. And he's like, what are we going to do?
And I suggested there were other places that made hats.
Perhaps.
Look at the heavy metal imagery in the background. I don't know. What do you think? Quite inspiring.
Nice.
We shot all this on Steadicam. Chris was amazing. He brought his whole crew, these incredible guys, Ray Dumas.
This whole
Brett J.
sequence of
Craig.
Choice Children's really is amazing, and there's some bonus material on the DVD.
I think you could see it on this DVD. There's Andrew cut a beautiful 7-minute sequence, really, where all the stuff that wasn't in the film we put in.
It just centers on him working there. It really is nice.
I mean, he was so fun to be. I mean, we were stuck in that van for 2 full days, and it was cold, and the lunches stank. I mean, I remember the frankfurters and beans and the bananas and the pineapple cubes. I mean, it was just horrible. And we would watch him go to kindergarten after kindergarten, pulling this trolley, as you see here.
This is where we first get a glimpse of that unbelievable optimism that he has,
I mean,
no matter what.
it was shocking. No matter what the circumstance, Lips was able to find a bright side. And here, I remember Chris said, "Okay, let's shoot him from here," and it was such a brilliant instinct, and we just ran that shot for
Remember
2 minutes.
the question when we posed the question, what would you do if there was no anvil?
Mm-hmm.
And then he paused and said, well, what was the costume change? We'd become Spec Sunday. What was that?
That's a whole other story. Lips and Rob have an alternative band called Spec Sunday, where Lips plays a character and wears glasses, and he's called Spec. Anyway, I guess you had to be there, and you had to have smoked a pound of weed before the story. This was an amazing interview. I wish we could have put more of it in the film. It was really when Lips was reflecting on his life and where he was, and how this time in his life was so critical. He recognized, I think the film being made was part of it for him. He recognized that now was the time when it was going to happen or not.
Another anvil toque.
Another anvil toque. This is Rob working on a sauna.
And by the way, a toque is a winter hat.
Shot by our brilliant friend Brent J. Craig in Toronto. And Brent was on hand to shoot whenever we needed. So stuff would happen, and we called Brent, and he'd be over with a camera within minutes. Here was Rob doing one of his many jobs. In the summer, he also had jobs. He also has jobs where he'll build porches and terraces in the summer and do demo in the winter and other building work. And he's one of the most sort of deft people around the house.
Rebecca, did you have any idea what a toque was before you started this
No.
movie?
Would you shut up about the toques? Who cares? It's a hat.
It's just a great word, toque. I like saying it.
Okay, say it one more time, guys.
Toque.
Here we are at Lips's 50th. I mean, it was an amazing night. There's Ginny, Lips's wife, on the left. And that's Jethro Hirsch, the head of Anvil Security. And it was amazing dude, that guy.
You're going to get flash in a minute of Ozzy Osbourne, okay?
He does.
Okay,
He's not
keep
Ozzy
your eyes
Osbourne,
open.
He's an Aussie lookalike.
Keep your shh, don't. No,
Okay,
that's
that's
Okay,
Cut Loose. I don't know what you could say about Cut Loose. You just have to think
You gotta love Kudlow.
pirate
Mad
film.
Dog.
Mad Dog.
Mad Dog was extraordinary. Mad Dog's story in itself is a film. I mean, Mad Dog is an amazing man. He really is. It's too long to go into the story here, but he deserves his own film, really.
Now that is not an anvil toque. That's a baseball cap.
That's just a base, but it's an anvil. It's an anvil hand. Andrew's obsessed
Oh,
with
there
him.
he is,
Ozzy
Ozzy.
Osbourne on the right. Yeah, he's actually an Aussie lookalike who does appearances in the Ontario.
Love Mad Dog laugh.
They've been with the band. I remember being on the road with them in the 80s, and they were just completely insane. And Cut Loose is Chris Hillis is an amazing, amazing man. And Mad Dog, what a heart. Mad Dog's
Unbelievable.
party trick is to drink beer through his nose. He did it at a Pantera show at Massey Hall. He's quite sort of famous in Canada for doing that. And all the best metal bands have collected him as a sort of mascot and icon, and he lives the lifestyle. Kind of an unusual story. He's been a caregiver to his 2 handicapped parents for quite a few years. Tony Gallo, you saw briefly there with the eyeliner. He is the Anvil fan club. He runs all things Anvil. He's a great guy. And here they are. 50th birthday. It was a really fun moment, and I think Lips was there happy we had a crew there. Here are Lips and Rob doing what they do best, standing on a street corner, getting fucked up. And this is Rob's van. The license plate read Tyler R., which is his son. And they literally, I mean, this is like a flashback to my childhood, being in the back of the Anvil van, listening to Anvil music. Here are the album
These
covers.
Anvil.
Andrew,
This is
I mean,
just-
what can you say?
I mean, this is unbelievable.
This is all for real.
all of this for real. I mean, wouldn't you just love to be at one of these photo shoots? We need the smash a little bit more on
We
that
need like a
VCR.
naked greased arm holding up an anvil. I mean, this is an original interview that appeared on Much Music, the Canadian MTV. And John Roberts, who you'll see here, is now a major news anchor on CNN.
This is a nice bit about his childhood home.
Yeah.
It's in the corner of Yeoman's Road.
Never failed to get a laugh when the drive-by occurs.
Well, because it was extraordinary when it happened. It was unbelievable. And I remember being with these guys, and that window that Lips is pointing to now, that's where Robb had his drum kit. He had this giant black drum kit with red heads. And I remember learning how to play drums from Robb in the basement of that house. And his parents were so great. Every night at 6 o'clock, his mother would call down and go, "Boys, dinner!" And they would have people coming in and out of that house. I was one of many. And the family just looked after all the kids and cooked us meals and cooked us goulash. And everyone would speak Hungarian. I mean, it was a wonderful, wonderful, warm household. And they were so open and tolerant of Robb's desire to be a heavy metal drummer. And the neighbors hated it, but his father ultimately was just so proud that Robb was so talented, and he encouraged him from day one. And that's Gary Greenblatt, original bass player in, I think, Gravestone, a pre-Anvil band, talking about the first song.
Getting that shot of the Lola was very difficult.
That was complicated. Another Ross Halford photo.
Oi.
Clearances. Oh, this is amazing. You can see all the rest of this on YouTube. You can see the full thing. We couldn't put it on the DVD because they wanted to charge us a lot of money. They're playing School Love, my favorite song when I was at school, and they recorded it in the studio. And this is like the Canadian Oprah. Can you say
Back in the
Hairspray?
day.
Can you say
Except she's
Hairspray?
white, of course.
The whole I think you can see more of this on YouTube as well. It's extraordinary, this whole interview. I mean, he's so young and sweet.
Toe Jam.
Toe Jam, one of my favorite songs, Metal on Metal, second album. Oh yeah,
The crowd, amazing crowd shots here. Just
amazing. Just people
fantastic.
were just like, what? Who are these people? Lips is so proud of himself. He later wrote a political song called "Show Me Your Tits." This is his mother.
That wasn't political. That was about Ginny lactating.
No.
It was.
Wait, no, it's his mother's on screen. You can't
Ginny-
talk about his wife
With Ginny
lactating.
lactating, that sounds very political. to
Paging
me.
Dr. Freud. Look, this was shot in Florida. Chris Seuss was amazing.
Pantsers.
Pantsers Deli. Now, this delicatessen's up for sale. It's also frequented by the band, the Canadian power trio Rush. They're talking about Thumbhang, which is the first song they wrote. They've completed, since the filming of the film, writing this song, and they've demoed it. And I think that they're releasing this song, Thumbhang, for the soundtrack album.
There were
Fantastic.
people who still accused us up until about this moment in the film of having staged the whole thing.
Oh no, many people still believe, having
But
seen the whole film. that
Rest
it's not real.
assured, nothing that you've seen thus far, or in the entire thing, has been.
I
has
remember
been-
working on it and saying to Sasha, it's quite possible that people aren't going to believe.
Well, I mean,
this.
I knew they
And
wouldn't. I mean, as we were filming,
You actually embraced the idea.
well, I just
because
thought,
you knew.
thank God,
Yeah.
because we knew that if people couldn't believe it, it would be even more.
You can't tell
telling.
Droid's story. That's
That's
yeah.
Tyler, Robb's son, working in the drum store. We had a great time. He was amazing. And this is the backyard. This is I was always intrigued by the two cars in the background.
Best shot of the movie right there.
It's
Look
sort
at
of
those
like
Mitsubishi Monteros
It's like a
back
sort of
there.
acid trip.
Exactly
white
the
trash
same, except with
nightmare.
different primer sections.
Why? What was
Unbelievable.
going on with the cars? I
I
could
do
never
not
figure it
know.
out. Who was the neighbor? Why? What a sweet kid.
I'm bored. You must be talking.
Yeah, he's an amazing kid, that kid Avery. And the two of them together, if people haven't really experienced in the film, we couldn't really put all the father and son stuff, but the bond between them is extraordinary. And
Yeah, the badminton. That's coming up later in the movie, but it was always a great.
and imagine if
sequence.
your dad was Lips. And this is them rehearsing in their North York rehearsal studio.
Does
Ivan-
G5 live in that?
Yeah,
studio?
the band now, G5, the bass player, he actually lost his apartment and he's actually living, I think, in that rehearsal studio, sleeping on an air mattress. I mean,
Yeah, that's what Lip said. Yeah.
a sort of soldier for the cause of Anvil. He's an extraordinary guy, and it was unfortunate that in the film we couldn't really tell much more of the G5 story. And again,
That's for the sequel. We're going to do an entire movie of G5.
Yeah.
well, we had to make sacrifices, didn't we? There were so many things we wanted.
Ultimately, the center of the story is Lips and Robb, but G5 is not just a great trooper and soldier for Anvil, but he's an incredible artist,
Oh, no, I mean,
great
and,
human
and,
being.
and as a bass player, I mean, he's extraordinary.
all five
Like,
strings, man.
Amazing player. Here's the introduction of Tiziana. I really don't know what I can say about Tiziana. She was an extraordinary force of nature. I think that's what you can
She
say.
got a tour going.
She got the tour going. I mean, she was advocating. Anvil needed a cheerleader at that point, and she really. And here are the dates. And I think Lips, when he was getting all this info from Tiziana, was overwhelmed that they were going to get €1,500 a show. I think by the end of the tour, they didn't make 1,500 euros altogether from about 80 shows. I think it didn't quite work out the way that everyone wanted. But, I think they rightly said at the time, look, this is the biggest tour we've been on. We should just go for it anyway. And they also thought they'd sell merchandise and T-shirts.
And of course, there's the perpetual Lips optimism pushing that train along.
I remember we shot this in a camper van. This was somewhere in Europe. And she always wore Anvil shirts, which was quite nice solidarity. And here's Ginny, Lips' wife, another huge part of the story. And Rebecca will get into that later, but that was a really important part of the movie for us when we started to really explore those stories later. But right now,
okay, check out the outfit.
The outfit, the Symphony of Red is amazing. And there's a guy on a little quad. I love that. I don't know why. Later he crashed into a wall. We have it on film. This is Ivan and Tiziana. You can tell there was a burgeoning romance going on. We started to realize that there was something going on here because Tiziana, look, she's sounding like Janine in Spinal Tap at the side of the stage. And she was sort of falling in love with Ivan at this point. We didn't quite understand until we were there for a month what the depth of it, but it was quite serious. And here are the serious fans of Anvil who've been there for a long time. And again, this is a prestige show for Anvil. They're on at lunch. And they're rocking their fans. There's G5. There's a man in a wizard hat. I love that.
There
man.
it is.
Fantastic. That was an inflated.
The headbanging wizard.
Headbanging wizard. Lips rarely wears leather trousers. In Sweden, he did. I think that guy who was just freaking out drove them 600 miles that night to their next show because Tiziana lost the train tickets or something. And this was great, being with them and watching the response they had to other artists at the festival and other people there. This is like the whole metal community in Europe, all these underground radio stations, and these guys just who'd seen Anvil, almost like myself in 1982, and never forgotten it, because they really did make an impression.
Hello, everybody.
Michael Schenker, unbelievable guitar player. What an amazing guitar player. Looks like a sort of heavy metal Don Juan. And he was talking about our cameraman's trousers. And Lips, what was interesting is that Lips had played on the bill with them in 84, and frankly, Michael Schenker did not remember from 1984 to 1990, so it was unfortunate he didn't remember. Brian Robertson, amazing guitarist with Thin Lizzy and Motorhead, and the famed Cactus and Aussie drummer Carmine Appice. Who's all of these artists, by the way.
Oh, this is the tall and teasing story.
Tall and teasing, yeah, and an arcade. Yeah. All of these artists, by the way, were so supportive.
This is so Lips, though, this scene, though, because he's
Jan
such an
Wolfman.
enthusiast, and all of these memories are so near and dear to him, and just these other guys just
Have no
cannot.
idea what he's talking about. But who cares? Because it's Lips, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
Such a
Now,
warm
this
guy.
guy is
Atsushi!
amazing. Atsushi was an original fan of the band, and if you look in the final part of the film, you will see, we'll point out when his face comes out. He's an amazing
He's in the
guy.
crowd at the end.
He's in the crowd, and you have him, he lifts his hat, and it was kismet that we ran into him in Sweden. And this guy, I think, helped, in the end, was part of the finale. JJ French, Twisted Sister, what can you say? He's saying the same clothes he wore during the 80s, but he's just put on 30 pounds. But they've been amazingly supportive, JJ and Dee and the whole band. And Anvil really did blow Twisted Sister off the stage several times in the 80s. Twisted Sister used to say live they were the only band that Sister were frightened of was Anvil at one point. And here, Lips, as we're interviewing him, just suddenly spots Tommy Aldridge, who is the wizard-like drummer for
And
many.
off he goes.
And off he goes. There's Tommy Aldridge, the Whitesnake, Fable drummer, brilliant double bass drum player, wonderful man, and that's Sweden Rock Festival.
Quickly to be shattered by missing
By
the
what
train.
happened next? Yeah, it became clear pretty early on that the organisation level was low.
Lax.
I mean, it was like, obviously from our point of view, it was all just gold. The more things went wrong, the better. But for them, I think it was really hard. And
This is funny though. We in the editing of this, we really struggled with a decision about how we were going to deal with Tiziana's dialogue because she's incomprehensible. So,
I think even to her own family.
So we arrived on, I think, a happy medium of subtitling some of it, but leaving kind of oblique and mysterious.
I mean, who would ever say A like ass, and who would actually say S like Sodom?
I mean, how
That's
can
like
you
Sodom.
not subtitle?
I mean, how can you
It's
not
just-
subtitle
it's
that?
just-
I mean, it was just insanity every single day. It was complete insanity. I remember the night before, we'd got stuck in a Transylvanian forest or something in the middle of the night, and the truck stopped, and we woke up to find that the truck was on the edge of a cliff, and that if we'd continued 6 feet, we would have gone to a...
No kidding.
Yeah, it was nutty. And so these were just highlights of...
So much footage of this tour.
This was a
Unbelievable.
very
Europe.
hats off to you and Jeff.
I mean,
Andrew, 'cause
incredible
this was
editing
a
job to make this
editing
work. And
challenge.
And
to
one
say
of the
least.
one of the great things about working on this film, you know, as a filmmaker, was having incredible editors. And when Andrew came on, because Jeff was amazing and worked for a year really to just take all this hundreds of hours of footage and make it make sense, and he did. And then Andrew came in with a fresh pair of eyes, and what was fantastic was he broke out the board and we really broke the whole thing out. And that, I think that was a huge turning point in the film actually, where it became something which I think had a reasonable amount of potential and promise, and suddenly we were able to really structure the film in a very specific singular way, and it really worked. And I've got to say, Andrew, like, amazing. It really,
Aw.
no, it's
Aw.
amazing. I mean, I
was-
think the
Look, and he's saying it publicly too. It's not just
That's very sweet.
privately.
It's
no,
like,
but I
oh,
think the reality is that anyone who sees this film can appreciate that the editing is absolutely first class. I mean, it really is, and the job that Jeff and Andrew did is I mean, the film would not be what it is without, I think, this. We had tons of great scenes, but there's a difference between tons of great scenes and a movie. And the reason the movie works is because the editors were so fantastic, and they were. I mean, you had a great time with Jeff,
Oh,
right?
it was a great time. Yeah, we had a lot of fun in the cutting room.
And we edited at my house, remember, in the summer.
Oh
Oh,
man,
we
before
remember.
I came
Hello.
in. There was no cutting room proper. I remember I walked in and the Avid was on Sasha's dining room table, and Jeff was sitting there, and I'm like, "You're editing in his dining room?" And it was.
It was
yeah,
95 degrees. We were editing. We had hundreds of hours of footage. Andrew came in. We had. And we would take breaks and jump in the swimming pool and like eat, and there were people coming in and out, and the band were coming to stay and look at scenes and, you know, do stuff that they had to do. And I mean, it was like a sort of whole carnival circus atmosphere while we were cutting all of this. I remember cutting the tour.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
lawyer. Oh,
Adam Lippier.
That's a great
That
story.
guy. Come on,
okay.
Adam, tell that
Adam
story.
Lippier, as the lawyer,
The headbanging
lawyer, was inebriated and knew enough to know he was inebriated when
So he refused to
uh,
sign a release that
well,
night.
he refused to sign a release and gave us his name and number, but gave an incorrect number, maybe because he was
Deliberately.
drunk or maybe
No, deliberately.
and also kind of slurred
didn't.
the writing of his surname. So we could not find him, and we searched and we searched, and we ended up running Googling all sorts of different incarnations of his surname.
Yeah.
And haha, we finally found in Munich.
In Munich, we found him.
An Adam Lippier, and emailed him and said, "Are you the one and same Adam Lippier who attended an Anvil concert in Munich?" And blah blah blah. And he says, "Yes, I am the one and the same. What's it to you?"
And unfortunately, he was a trial lawyer, and it was very complicated. Again, it took a year and a half. Now, when this scene
No,
happened,
but just
Yeah,
to
this
finish.
is amazing.
But this
just
is an
to
important
finish.
scene.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
but
come
just
back to Adam.
yeah, all right, we'll come back to
Go
Adam.
back.
I love the way that Lips really does get upset. I mean, after all, he should be paid for the work. But it's
Yeah.
not until G5 gets in the guy's face that Lips really gets the support. There he goes.
There he goes, and he's off. He's off to the races. And I tell you what, Lips never gets angry like this. I've never seen him like this, maybe one other occasion. But you know what? He was just had it. He'd been on the road. He'd done like 8 shows. They'd done 8 shows in 8 days.
There he is again.
Here's Adam, and it was crazy, and everyone wanted to get paid. Adam,
So
you should be playing in
Adam-
front of 1,000 minimum people, and you can't really tell until deep into the scene how drunk he is. He's out of his mind.
And you are not. But God bless him. Like again, loved the band so much.
So much, then he
that
wanted to manage the band.
He signed his release.
And he'd actually
and he
said,
came
"I will
through.
give money from my children's college fund so this tour can continue." And then he said, "Not much money, but I will give some."
Definitely the man with the shortest hair at the gig.
He was amazing. And he was like a kid like me who heard about Anvil in London in '83, fell in love with them, and saw that they were playing in the paper and came, and he was appalled that there was no one there.
Wait, he
couldn't
drove
understand
from
it.
where? He drove this great distance.
He grows, yeah, I don't know where he drove from, but it's a couple hundred miles. Oh, wow. And yes, this was how it was every day. Trains were missed, planes were missed. It was just, the whole tour was falling to pieces, and Rob loved us shooting that. He was like, about that.
This is another great.
No one really understands what she's saying, but obviously things didn't go correctly.
And here it was as Rebecca said before, here it was a great opportunity to not subtitle it because it's just
You just needed to.
You just hear the nonsense or I don't know what it is.
I think she's saying.
I think I've heard it hundreds and hundreds of times.
I've heard it hundreds of times, and I think she's saying about invalided means not valid.
Not valid, right? And
I think
something
that's
about
what she's.
heretofore
This isn't
going, meaning
heretofore go not valid.
like
this
they've gone
way.
one
and
way.
Lips was
so
just
not
had
coming back.
no idea what she was talking about on a regular
as
basis.
did no one else.
No one
who's
really
seen the movie.
It was grim. We were in Eastern Europe at a certain point, and it was November, and it was the heating had broken in the campers.
Didn't Ginny pack those sleeping bags for
I think
him?
she did. Ginny Lips' wife packed them. And this was another occasion where Tiziana has said there's going to be huge promotion, and we arrived to find this. And it was just astonishing. That was the promotion. There was no one there. The local promoter, is getting his head, barked off by Tiziana. She was quite emotional. Ivan, as you could see, stroking her hair, trying to make sure she doesn't lose it completely. This was quite a regular occurrence, just in terms of. Yeah, and this was I remember this occasion. Rob just didn't want to play. He just had it. This has happened too many times, and he was like, "Okay, I'm out of here." And everyone's pointing fingers. Whose fault is it? And I think there was like 6 people at the show, and it was just tough. When you've been on the road and you're away from home and your family and you're not getting paid. It's tough when this happens for like the 15th time. And to be fair to Tiziana, I mean, a lot of it was there was really no money. I mean, the band wasn't getting paid. She wasn't getting paid. In fact, Tiziana, I think at times, very kindly put her hand into her own pocket to make up the difference sometimes. And, she really was trying. So when she says she tries here.
But definitely at this stage
really
of
was.
the
It was
tour,
hard.
everyone's finger pointing, and it's everyone else's fault for why things are falling apart. I mean, there's a lot of footage we didn't incorporate where it just got so.
Because it happens so often, and we knew for the film we couldn't have it happen multiple times, and that was something where we were very aware of that.
This is a really nice, meaningful.
It's a
moment
nice
between
moment
the
where
two of
Rob's
us.
like going, "How long does this have to go on for?" And Lips just says, "Please come back and play." And again, we were able to be nimble on this film. We sent out the camera with them. It was just one camera and sound on board, so that we really wouldn't step on these real moments. There wasn't a huge crew around them at these times. All these intimate times were caught on like prosumer handycams, and that was really important to be able to just capture it. And look, this is a typical situation where there's no promotion, and just no one knows the band's playing.
And yet they still played their
And
heart
of
out.
course, and they always played the same set. They gave it everything, and I think this guy's called Eric. And this wasn't the only night that the band was sleeping at an airport. It wasn't the only night. It was either food or a hotel room that they all could share. And at certain points, it was really funny. And then at other times, it was like, well, you know what? These guys are really, they're sacrificing everything just because they believe so hard and they want it so much. And this was a big deal. For Monsters of Transylvania, you could see posters up all over town. There was tons of press. And we had been told by Tiziana that it was totally sold out. The show was sold out. And there was tons of excitement. And we didn't really understand what was happening. And so when we saw this kind of Enormodome, which was a communist-era sports hall where they'd had communist rallies only a few years before, we walked in and there were kids outside, and it seemed like, wow, this is going to be what it's worth. I mean, you look at this place and it was huge, and they had proper sound and
Look at the amp.
and a tiny amplifier, and there's the Anvil merch table, and kids are showing up, and we were just so pleased for the band because we thought this is going to be a huge show, and they're top of the bill, and there are all these other bands supporting, and everyone was in high spirits, and here the Lord of the Rings springs to mind. But the Olymp, and I actually drew that raffle, and it really was for a weekend for 2 in a Black Sea resort, and that really was the start of the event. And the girl who won it was very, very excited, and that's Romania's Limp Bizkit.
I was going to say Eminem.
Yeah, and there's Iron Mask. That's Dusan Petrosi, the guitarist there. And I don't know what he's got on his fingers, but
They're heavy metal fingers.
Yeah, heavy metal fingers. And this was what, the band themselves, they knew, Rob would walk down the tunnel like at Spinal Tap and go, "Hello Cleveland," and all that stuff, because, it's their favorite film. Lips has it in his collection. And here they are, walking towards the stage. And I got to tell you, it was a great show. It was a great show. Lips was kind of on one that night, and they had barricades, and they had hundreds of security. Well, there may be 45 security people, to be precise. And someone nearly got in a fight with that guy, but I'm glad they didn't. And there was absolutely no one there.
Have you included
No
the
one.
hemorrhoid in the outtake?
Yeah, that was the night where Lips' hemorrhoids popped out on stage during the drum solo. We filmed it, but it was just so
But
sad for other reasons that we just couldn't put it in because
And if you can bear the idea of it, again, on the DVD,
I think
I
I
think
don't know
it's
if it's
gonna
on the DVD.
if it is, you're in for a treat.
If not, it'll be on the next one.
Lips talking about how his hemorrhoids pop out when he sings.
Yeah,
Like a
and he
light
said it's just
bulb.
like Mick Jagger. He's not the only one. I mean, seriously, he does. The footage is extraordinary. But that was a tough night. But, again, brave soldiers, it doesn't... To Anvil, if two people show up and it made their night, that's all that matters. They don't really care. And that was the beauty of the band. I think the whole crew felt that spirit,
And then it's back to his job.
And here he is at Children's Choice Catering. And some people have drawn the parallel with Lips here and Mickey Rourke in The Wrestler. And I only recently realized that two films are sort of coming out at the same time. And, it's really astonishing, the similarity, thematically and specific. I mean, look at their faces. Even.
Doing what you love,
Doing what you love, which is not
it's really,
catering.
It really is a movie for this moment, Despite all of the hardships and pressures and adversity, just not fucking giving up on the dream.
Yeah. And look at him. I mean, he's doing his job, and he's...
Even thankful to Tiziana,
I mean, most people would never want to speak to that woman again. He was the opposite. He was like, thank God she gave us a chance that we wouldn't normally have had.
There was a tour to go on.
There was a tour to go on, yeah. And he really meant it. And that was the thing about Lips, is he is really who he is. He's just a genuine fan and enthusiast and good person. And so when the offer came for Anvil to perform at Ivan's marriage to Tiziana in Perry Sound, of course the band were thrilled to be able to take them up. And you can see members of Raven and Riot, I think, are here. The guitarist, there's the Eric Knudsen, who's there, the guitarist of Phantom X. Picks in the Flowers, quite romantic.
And singing 666 at the...
So here we are at the
the
community centre, and I've got to tell you, the town didn't have any idea what to hit them. They're playing 666. Tiziana, it is like a scene out of Spinal Tap. As it was being shot, no one could believe, people just couldn't believe it. I'm not going to say anything about that. Or that lady with the camera that Rebecca insisted we have in the film, which is a great shot. And most of the relatives and friends were just bemused. They really just did not understand what had happened, but they were encouraging nonetheless, as you see there. Given up over the years in order to do what he wants to do. And it's a poignant moment in the movie because you start to realize as an audience, Anvil is really doing weddings.
It's also poignant because here we come back to
his mum. And we start,
yeah.
obviously it's a
reality
really
of his
big
life.
shift point in the film now. And the conception I think all of us had at the beginning was that the film should almost play like Spinal Tap to a degree, in fact, encourage that. And now we move into sort of pushing that aside and really revealing the truth of what the story's about, as Rebecca's intimated. And really these are real people with real families who have been through a lot.
He wasn't going to be a tailor. He wasn't going to go into the men's
That's Lips' brother Jeffrey and his brother Gary, who's an accountant. They've all been fantastic with the film, and obviously his sister Rhonda's an angel, and this is Lips with his guitar collection in his house. I love these. When we found this footage,
it was a good
look
find.
at Lips there. He's just a nice Jewish boy, And there's his mum on the right and his wonderful sister Rhonda on the left. His brother Jeffrey there. People think it's his dad. It's his brother. His elder brother who actually gave him his first guitar. And now we cut to Rob's house and he's talking about his childhood and how that was a little bit different. How he had all the encouragement. Lips' family had been less encouraging. This is Rob's sister Droid, who is just unbelievable and very, very sweet and supportive of the film. You know, she had some tough things to say, but that was her opinion, and she wanted them to be said. And, you know.
I think this was also a feat of the editing because Rob has a tendency to be a little dark cloud, kind of nihilistic and negative. I mean, Lips doesn't go to the dark place often or ever in terms of the years of rejection, and has no hard feelings about the way in which their careers have evolved. But Rob can go there, and I think
that this what we're watching now is the reason why, you know, we understand it. And again, as I was interviewing Rob at this moment, I knew nothing of this.
Amazing.
It was amazing that Rob intuitively knew that this was the moment he was going to tell the story that he'd never discussed about his family and his grandfather dying at Auschwitz.
And I remember it really is a delicate moment, and talking about whether or not it should even be in the movie.
Yeah, we had a big debate about it.
Yeah, you have you have Auschwitz, and you have a guy playing a guitar with a dildo.
And how do those two things go together?
But
and
then
we
you see this.
And it's
that
really
shot is
it's
amazing.
integral to the story.
And you really realize that, you know, this is the son of a survivor whose father made these gold drumsticks for him when he was a child because he believed in him so. It's such a powerful and pure story of a father and son, and just the simplest kind of love and the strongest kind of love. And I mean, Rob, as you can see, just loves and idolizes his father.
And you know, these are real people. You know, this is really where we see. I mean, it's like.
And again, it takes the notion that, quote, this is a film about the real Spinal Tap, as people have referred to it, and it really says, no, this isn't. You know what I mean? Yes, that's one element of the story, but the truth is, you know, these are incredible people with incredible histories, and they have this dream, and this is the moment where it is either going to happen or not for them. And the stakes, as you can see in this scene, are incredibly high. What are they going to do? They can't give up. They can't go back. They are compelled to go forward and give it everything. And you hear Rob talking about his mortality here, you know. I just would love to see something happen while I still can.
Well, I can.
While I can, yeah. This is Lips's house. And he always did this every morning in the winter, shovel the snow. And that's one of his duties over there. And he's talking about CT, I think.
And then, we get to go back and see how it began.
And now you see this amazing footage that we saw some of at the beginning of the film, recording the seminal record Metal on Metal, which was just unbelievable. John Roberts there in the studio with them. And you can see a young Mad Dog at the far left, right, Andrew?
Yes, no beard, mustache only.
And here they are on Much Music, recording in Phase 1 Studios in Toronto with the incredible Chris Tangaridis, who was not just an incredible producer, but what a great help to the film. And obviously he's produced some incredible bands. He'd just come off producing Thin Lizzy's album. And, you know, he'd worked with Sabbath and Judas Priest. And these guys from Canada were just blown away that they had him. Rebecca, do you want to say goodbye? Come on, Rebecca's
Bye,
leaving
friends.
the DVD commentary.
I'm so sorry.
Do you want
I
to
have
explain to them why?
exit the DVD.
Bye, Rebecca.
Bye,
Why
Rebecca.
are you leaving?
Okay, her nanny's been.
Too complicated.
some
Too complicated.
She has some
errands
family
to
stuff,
run.
so
I
we're
have
just
some family errands.
typical
to run.
Anvil. We leave in the middle of the DVD.
Sorry, I'm so
Don't
sorry.
even worry. Don't even worry.
I'm so sorry. Most people will have turned it off by now anyway.
They won't even know exactly.
Oh,
They'll
but
just
this
be
is
like,
fascinating.
it'll just
You
be
could've-
Lips and Rob listening anyway at this point. No one else cares.
No,
I love you, Lips and Rob.
We love you,
You're
Lips
the
and
only
Rob.
one still listening. I love you
His
guys.
mom is
Oh,
listening.
And G5.
And G5.
This is another great moment with his son. Oh, the paintings.
Yeah.
This is
This
really
this is Rob's house, obviously. This is his basement.
the other side of Rob.
Anvil headquarters. It's very similar to the way I remember it, you know, in his parents' house. It's the same idea to the basement of his parents' house. And I think these are the tapes to
Those are his masters.
master tapes, the first album, Hard and Heavy.
On the floor in the bottom of his closet. These paintings, I mean, this isn't, another thing that we talked about, whether to be in the movie. Of course, now it seems so natural. How could it not be in the movie? But we did have versions of the film where this was not. And
I've got to say that I fought. Always, I fought for, my perspective was that the more we could confound the stereotype of this is Spinal Tap and have things which were really rich and different to the obvious, the more, unbelievable the film would be. And I think that, we made the right decision in the end.
But also remember which paintings to include.
Which
there was
paintings?
another painting of the guys of the roadie's tush
I mean-
hanging out of the truck that we took that one out.
Now I couldn't really believe it when Rob showed me this painting.
This
because,
is amazing.
I mean, Rob really.
Listen
just-
to him talk about it.
I know.
He's really passionate about that painting. He painted a giant anvil.
Yeah, and this is. I've tried to get this painting off him many times, but he's refused to.
He won't
This-
sell any of his paintings. He
He
doesn't
won't
even
sell
show
any
them
of
to
his
anybody.
paintings.
He doesn't
I mean,
show them to anyone.
This kit was the kit that he played when I knew him. When I was on the road with them, I would set up that kit. And this really is the.
And a lot of people
Kudlow.
thought we shouldn't have this. And
Okay,
always-
now he opened the door. Our cameraman Ray. It's a steady cam, so he was shaking. But none of
got
us.
the
I had to
close-up,
leave the set
the
because
textured close-up
because
of a
when
turd.
he started to explain that this was a German stool and that I honestly I had to leave the house. I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. I was like, this cannot be real. And then of course he complains that Jane doesn't want it in the living room. How inconsiderate.
How can
We
you
were we couldn't believe it.
just could not cap that scene any better.
I mean, unbelievable. And then Lips excitedly called us and said, CT's called. What was great is that we were in Toronto for long periods of time, and when stuff would happen, he would be able to call Brent, and he would come over, and Brent would just shoot what was going on at the time. So, he wired up the phone, and then Lips called him back. And I think that what was amazing was having a cameraman in Toronto for 3 years. He lived there obviously, and being able to go and get whatever we needed whenever we needed it. That
3 years.
that was a real luxury. Or 2.5 years.
That's
You know.
wild.
So as the story unfolded,
And as I
Lips
had
would call
heaps
me.
of footage, believe me,
We have 320 hours of footage, and this was CT, and we couldn't tell at first whether he, what he wanted to do, and then finally he said maybe you should get yourselves over, and they did, and so then they came to London, where I met them, and with another cameraman.
And it's interesting. You think that this is going to
Balaj, who was fantastic. I had to hire a cameraman in London.
You think this is the start of the recording.
And this is a suite at the Dorchester Hotel that the Chinese ambassador to the UN had just vacated. And the look on the face of the manager as Anvil trooped in was a joy to behold. So that's a park suite overlooking Park Lane. And, CT arranged, and he gave us a fantastic lunch. And it was really, really fun.
I think this is when they hear of how much money it's going to cost.
Yeah.
And it's really
I mean,
not
but,
that much
but
money.
it's not that money, but,
But for
CT,
them,
CT
and a
needed to
small
keep
band.
the studio going, and this is just like the cost of keeping the lights on, as he says. And he was advocating just doing it in such a way that, if it blows up, then great, and if not, then, at least we own it, kind of thing.
But this was a huge obstacle to the band.
And CT worked with us, and people have asked me, oh, did CT just do it because you made a film? And the truth is, no. CT produced Metal on Metal and Fortune Fire, 2 seminal Anvil albums, and something had gone wrong during the mix of the third album, and I think he felt that there was some business that needed to be put right between him and the band. So he was pleased that a film was being made, but he also wanted to kind of complete the process, complete the circle with the band. But, at this point, Lips was like, well, 13 grand to him to keep the lights on is, more than I earn in 2 years.
But it won't stop him.
But, he's going to do whatever it takes. And, this happened over a period of time, and he was figuring out what to do, and he did a number of jobs.
This is a great shot, by the way. Of the
It's a Chris
neighborhood.
Seuss genius shot, because he's a genius. He shot that all handheld, of course. We had a genius Canadian cameraman. May I say that again? He's genius. And now, the surprising discovery.
You could not have written this.
I mean, when Lips told me this is what he was doing, I was like, I'm coming to Toronto immediately. And we got the crew together, and we just went. And all these people here who worked in the office where Lips was working were fantastic. And they were like, sure, yeah. They had no idea what we were doing. They didn't know what the film was about. They didn't know who Lips was.
Cut
and
Loose
here's
is Empire.
Cut Loose, who is just, you could never make it up. Dare to Soar, the crocodile on the desk.
He wants to help him.
And he wanted to help, and he thought, Lips can just do it in character and make a fortune, and we all do well. And Cut Loose had really been there for the band. And what's interesting is, early days, 25 years ago, Cut Loose was a guy sleeping on the floor of the band's dressing room, and now Cut Loose has sort of got himself together and had this incredibly successful business, and goes on holiday to Barbados and stuff. In fact, he couldn't come to the premiere in London because he was on a yacht in Barbados or some crazy stuff. It was insane.
But it's just not the thing for Lips,
But how's Lips going to do this job? It's not for him.
But he still tried.
Yeah, he'll still tried. We had to cut a bit out of the film, which I love, which is even after this was such a disaster, he said, I worked for 3 days, but I drove my bike 2 of the days, so I saved money on gas. That was Lips's perspective.
He was talking about how he made nothing, and then he said, "Wait a minute, it cost me because of gas." And he goes, "Oh no, it didn't, because I rode my bike 2 of the days."
And there you see, and he's just, this is not. This is just.
It's not in his
Look at
nature.
him.
Yeah, that look is really.
And he really did try, and I heard a couple of the calls, and my God, that is a hard job. I actually did it years ago, but I'd forgotten how bad it was. It was horrible. I did it for like a month, and I couldn't deal with it, and I sold nothing.
What
like
were you
Lips.
selling? What was the product?
It was like something in England. I can't remember. I was Alexander Crompton Smith. Everyone had to have a fake name. It was so stupid.
And these guys were total salesmen.
Yeah, they were really good at it, and they made a lot of money doing it too. Always be closing.
Oh,
And it just had reached a crescendo, and this was just like the most unbelievable scene. When we showed up to film that night, it was just the atmosphere in the air was explosive. I think Lips had just reached this point where
we called this the atom bomb. You know,
this
it's
is
like
the
where
atom
to-
bomb scene.
Yeah, where to put this in the movie, because everything around it was just obliterated. When every time it came on, it took a lot of careful balance and weight to put it in, to get it into the exact right spot.
And it was sort of where it came in the story, but it was so powerful that
That's an incredible thing. Like
yeah,
I mean, it was
just,
heavy. It was
well, it's a really heavy scene. I mean, you
Yeah.
start to realize, this is the weight of 30 years of trying,
I'm gonna take you there, man.
and friendship.
and
You
their
know,
friendip,
it really
and that
sums
bond.
up the whole movie.
It sums up the scene. Really does. I agree with you.
It's beautiful. It's great. And it's hilarious. I mean,
Yeah.
it really is. It has every aspect of the film, you know. I mean, it's really moving and incredibly funny.
What cost? So there's cliffs I can go jump off. That's the easy way.
Well, no.
This look is
Yeah,
just,
look now. It's unbelievable. I mean, you could never direct actors to do that.
and such
It's so pure and instinctive and connected. These two people are so connected from such a young age.
Sasha, you know, really lucky to have these kind of subjects that are willing to be so naked in front of the camera.
Well, they were just willing from day one. I told them what I was going to do, how we were going to do it, what I thought the trajectory of the film was, and they were like, "Great."
Were they baffled that
Well,
you hadn't
Lips
spoken
understood.
to them in
Lips
25 years?
Lips understood immediately what we were going to do. He totally got it. Robb was not sure at all. I think he didn't really understand until he saw the final film. He had to watch it 3 times, and then he really got it. But when he saw the response at Sundance, and the 600 people giving
Right.
it a standing ovation, I think he really understood what it was.
Because I remember Lips visiting the cutting room, and it was always funny and interesting to be working on a scene and then to hear him for real in the back, when his phone would go off. That scene where the phone goes off, to hear it in real life.
His phone ring that you see at the end before Japan. His phone ring is actually, he put his phone up to a Marshall stack and recorded the Forged in Fire. He recorded his own phone.
That's his ringtone.
Here's Jane. Go and visit Jane at the United Bakery in Toronto. She is beloved there. They're very kind people at the United Bakery. All my family who are from Toronto, a lot of them, go to that bakery. And so it's so bizarre that they're all friends now, and Jane and my family.
And this is, Rebecca really, we again, this is another aspect of the film that we tossed around and went through many different versions of how the family, particularly the wives, their lives were incorporated into Lips and Robb's dream and their pursuit. They're such a long pursuit to become rock stars, and how it affected their loved ones. There's his kid and his stepdaughter. And these scenes do just so much for the film, I think. The badminton scene, the hockey scene. It was always funny how we would tease Jeff, the other editor, Jeff Renfro, about, because he was a bit apprehensive about the hockey, and I don't know why, and I always used to say that Jeff Renfro is the only Canadian on the planet that does not like hockey.
And you've got to understand that shot through this film is a real Canadian element. My mum was born in Toronto. Jeff Renfro,
Yeah.
our other editor, Toronto. Our cameraman, Chris Seuss, Toronto. Our whole crew were Canadian. So there was a whole connection. And this, for me, is probably the most powerful film scene in the film, apart from the one we just saw.
Family's important shit. Yeah.
This scene is unbelievable. I mean, Rhonda was extraordinary. And we actually joined the scene. I'd been interviewing her for about an hour and a half. And finally, what she'd done and how she felt about her brother. She was very, I think, apprehensive of the cameras at first, understandably. I mean, she's not.
It's so real and genuine, you know. I mean, it's
and it came
real-
out, and she just allowed us to see, this incredible love
So yeah,
that
it's
there is in this family, and this wanting Steve, Lips's real name is Steve, wanting Steve to really succeed. And she'd been very protective of him as a child, and here was this younger brother of hers who had still trying, and she saw that this was the time to help, and she did.
It really is a loving, touching moment. Beautiful shot.
Again, credit here to the incredible work. We had just an unbelievable crew. We had Ray Dumas shooting Steadicam here. Obviously Chris Seuss doing amazing handheld stuff. Brent J. Craig, Matt Dennis. I mean, these guys made this film happen, and we were all a troupe together. Here's CT's house, and I love it when he bounces the apple like a schoolmaster. It's awesome.
Yeah, the keys on his necklace.
And here he is talking about why the band, in his opinion, has had such a struggle not making it. And he's, the producer of some would consider their greatest work, certainly the most seminal work to date. The 1982 album, Metal on Metal, and the 1983 album, Forged in Fire. And here he is in the Ecology Rooms, his home studio. And he really was like, okay, look, let's give it a whirl. Let's try and turn this into something. Let's make this album amazing. And I think that the band were grateful to him, and he was grateful to the band for giving them that chance. And he wanted to be part of, seeing the whole story of where Anvil had gone wrong. He wanted to be part of that story becoming a success. So, here they are, Robb Reiner setting up his drums. I mean, unbelievable player. They're recording, I can't remember which song here.
Bombs Away.
And the interesting thing about this is if you see Chris is about to turn a dial to 11. After the film Spinal Tap, equipment companies and recording studios began to manufacture outboard equipment which had dials that went to 11 because of the film, and now these pieces of equipment are real, and here we go, it comes back to life imitates art, etc. And
You Don't Stand a Chance. What this is?
I can't remember what the song is. Rob's talking about it's a punk pop.
It's maybe even not even like metal. It could be in the pop. Punk pop? How about punk pop?
CD's like, I have no idea. What are you talking about? And
Week
here they are,
3.
recording what's known as Off the Floor. They're all playing together. This is like a shot out of Local Hero, and I just loved it, and I wanted it in the film, even though it didn't mean anything.
These guys were living together here in
it's
a Boy Scout.
No,
camp.
it's a scout camp in the middle of the countryside. These are all scout
He had just come
hutches.
back from the grocery store with hamburger meat.
And he said, I've got burgers.
Yeah, he's I'm having
You can't hear him
burgers.
say it, but he says, I got burgers. And normally during the summer, the Cub Scouts would be there. So CT just took over the whole complex. The band lived there. They slept in bunk beds.
They were watching Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
They
or
were
something
they watched
that
Austin-
Robb had brought with
Yeah,
him.
but Rob brought Hanna-Barbera cartoons on DVD, and they watched them over and over again. They also watched Austin Powers Goldmember. I think it was 64 times during the recording sessions, and we go around reciting lines from Goldmember.
Until it all exploded.
Until it all exploded. And this has been going on for some time. It was really tough recording. I think a lot of this was about the stakes on the band. They knew this was make or break. CT had been the only really great producer that I ever worked with. Here they were 25 years ago, and if this didn't work, then they recognized, I think, that, what would.
The pressure was on.
The pressure was on. This album had to be great. If this album wasn't great, it was going to be a challenge for them. And I think just tensions erupted. And there was... Rob was upset about how slow I think things were going at a certain point, and Lips felt he had all the pressure on him, usual stuff. And here's CT trying to be the peacemaker as usual. And this is a very... when I was touring with them, I'd never seen this happen before, but it was quite an explosion, and it lasted several hours.
But they fought and made up, just, like brothers, as they say.
You're right. I agree. So maybe...
So where are you going? What are you doing?
I'm going to go pursue something a little
Do you want to talk about editing this scene, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, the challenge here was the fight came out of nowhere. I think initially people were kind of confused. So under the door of that handheld shot before the door opens, we put Lips. I can't remember, but the dialogue is cut there, so it kind of matches to Robb on the board being upset. And there were certain looks I think that Robb had given Lips that a sign of perhaps his disapproval. And I think Lips was.
And just a quick film thing here, quickly. We sent one crew after Lips, and then we sent one after Robb, and we set it up on the hill. And Ray Dumas said to Ray, David Lean.
You got this beautiful shot.
And Ray got this incredible shot, like Wuthering Heights. And then several hours later.
And this talk here was very long. And we cut it down to the essential parts. Of course, another scene. This whole fight and makeup went through many different versions.
And it went through many versions because in real life, this whole sequence of events went over about 9 hours.
Wow.
I mean, it was.
I believe it.
It went over 9 hours. The build up to the fight, the break, the second fight, the going apart. It was just extraordinary. And when Lips popped in, this is amazing camera work by Chris Seuss. Chris was such an intuitive cameraman, such a brilliant cameraman.
Yeah, and the handheld thing is tricky. It's very tricky.
Well, that was what. It was just brilliant. I mean, he gets right in there, and they forget that he's there. And he just is allowed into the most intimate inner circle of these people as they try and make sense of what's going on.
And it's still quite funny, too. I remember when we extended this shot is when he says, I don't feel that way. And in some audiences, it actually gets a laugh. It is funny. I mean, it's sad, but when he does
the reason
say
it gets a laugh by those audiences is because it's so tense and intense and they need a release.
You
need a laugh because it's like, oh, my God.
Yeah, it is intense.
And CT was you could tell that CT had done this with many bands before.
The Peacemaker.
He is an old hand. That's one of the producer's job is to navigate the craziness of band members.
To be their shrink.
He is their shrink, and obviously we didn't realize it at the time, but I guess we were sort of riffing on some kind of monster without even realizing it, but this was just what was going on. And then this intense sort of self-reflection and self-flagellation and honesty and this raw emotion and vulnerability and
again this nakedness,
tenderness.
that
I mean, look at how open he is.
Yeah.
And it was so powerful for us. I mean, I remember being there, watching this, and we were all in tears. I mean, it was an unbelievable atmosphere to be around those guys at this point in their life, with this much at stake, recognizing that if it didn't happen now, it might not, and they knew that too.
It really is a raw moment, and sometimes you hear people kind of shifting here. It is a little bit uncomfortable, but not too much, and it's essential to reveal the kind of person that Lips is and Robb is, and the relationship that they have. It really is unique. It's what makes the movie great, I think.
If I can't express myself and blow up at you, what have I got?
And you realize, who have I got if I can't blow up at you? You realize that Lips, really, this is the most important human being in his life, The
Sasha,
closest person he has,
Yeah. After not talking to these guys for 25 years and then meeting them, what was it that you said, wow, I want to make a movie?
Well, because Lips, when I first met Lips, he really still believed the band was going to make it. It was it was like magical thinking, It was like here they were in their 50s and they were still going, and it wasn't just that they had kept playing music. A lot of people keep playing music. It was that Lips truly believed in his heart.
But when you saw all of this, were you surprised, or did you think before when you started, this is going to make a great movie because, or were you like,
no,
wow,
I just had an instinct, and then all this stuff sort of fell out. I mean, I had no idea there was this much richness to it. I didn't really understand, but I knew that people would sort of laugh at them at first, then realizing what kind of people they were, that their perception would change.
Yeah.
And I just knew that, and then they just really were just so incredible with us. And I think the fact that a film was being made brought things to a boil in one sense. It articulated the fact that something better happened, whether it was conscious or not. This was going to be the story of them and their life and their struggle really now. It wasn't going to be behind the music what happened then. It was about a struggle in the present to make an old dream come true. And what really struck me about it, what attracted me to it, was Lips's unwavering belief that one day Anvil would have their day. It was absolutely unflinching. It was relentless. It was, we're going to do it. And there was something so captivating and magical about it. And ironically,
It made for a story.
It made for a story,
friendship
and now the film, is creating an awareness of the band and a desire to see the band, which is, I think, bigger than anything they've ever experienced at this point. I mean, obviously it's early days, but as we speak here in Los Angeles in February of 2009, there is in early February there is there are multiple places in the world wanting the band to come tour and show the film, and the Glastonbury Festival in England is considering having Anvil play. I mean, it's extraordinary what's going on, and I think they can't believe it themselves. And obviously they wanted to go to Stonehenge. And I remember hearing a conversation where Lip said it's really unfortunate that Spinal Tap did the song, because it really is a good subject. And he wished Anvil could have done a song about it. But Spinal Tap kind of stole their thunder.
Beat him to it.
And that's another beautiful shot. Shot by Diz Toba.
And the music here is great. There's a great
music
score there.
Well, the score was done by two people. We worked initially with an amazing composer called David Torn, and he was on multiple movies and didn't really have a whole bunch of time, but we loved him so much. He was extremely generous with the time he did have, and he gave us a ton of great stuff. And then, I'd wanted to work for some time with my old friend David Norland, who I'd been to school with, who'd known me at the time when I was on the road with Anvil. We were at school together, and was always sort of making fun of me for liking Anvil because he was into lots of cool bands. But when I showed him the film, he got very emotional, and he said, "Look, if it ever comes up, I'd love to work on it." And so when David sort of became unavailable, David Torn, I went to David Norland, and he just did the most extraordinary, the most magical, the most incredible. It's his first film score. And I actually just read this morning that this very influential sort of cool internet thing called The Playlist just voted it number sixth best film score of the year, between sort of Benjamin Button and The Wrestler. I mean,
Great.
He did amazing work, and Torn did too. But I think David coming up with the theme for the film, which we'll see later in Japan, I mean, it's just a wonderful piece of film music, and me and Lips were in the studio with him, and
here shopping the record.
Here they're trying to get the deal in LA. Oh my God,
so
that was brutal. It
antiquated.
went on for days. It was horrible. And when you're giving your record to the security person, they have no what's going on. It was brutal. And I look at Chris Seuss's shot.
I think the Capitol Records
How brilliant is
building,
that shot?
It's now going to
big,
be
it's small.
condos.
Yeah.
That says a lot about the record industry. Right
No one was interested. No one even cared. I mean, he'd made a few calls and sure, drop it off. I don't even know if anyone even bothered to listen to it. I mean, these are guys in their 50s. Who can think in a million years they're going to be able to sell these guys? This is actually in my back garden.
Next to the orange couch.
Next to the orange couch where we shot Scotty, and that's in my back garden. And Lips is looking out into the lush greenness that is out of sight in the wasted, ruined grass at his feet.
The skeleton of a chaise
And here we are back in Toronto at EMI Canada, who were fantastic. And actually some of them old fans of the band, and were interested to hear the new record.
This was shot with one camera.
And this guy here, Fraser Hill, was just fantastic. Fraser has become actually a huge advocate of the band. And I think is signing them for Canada. I mean,
That's amazing.
I mean, what's great about
he really didn't know what was hitting.
What's
him.
great about this is Fraser was sort of, in the position of any record company guy. Who are these guys? He knew a bit about them. How can I sell this? And I think he really wanted to try and do something for them.
He
And
met them. I mean, it was what,
he didn't have to do this
yeah,
at all.
I mean, here they were not just giving their record to
No,
a security guard.
this
He
is
met
a
them.
head guy who's actually going to give them the time. And he sort of tries to be honest with them, and he says, look, this is the atmosphere, it's tough, and I'm going to try. And he actually did. And what's more important is that after the film, Fraser really has been true to his word. Not see many A&R guys, if they were in this movie, and they'd come across as the guy who sort of told the band to go screw themselves and reject them. Many of them would go, oh, well, they were so bad or anything. But Fraser's or something, But Fraser's response was the exact opposite. He was like, you know what? I think maybe I made a mistake. These guys are great.
I remember when we were in Toronto for the Hot Docs Festival,
That's
and we
right.
were having coffee with your mom, and
Fraser came
and
up.
your cell phone rang, and it was
Fraser
Hill.
saying, how can you help me sign Anvil?
Yeah, it was a total 180
And it was
reversal.
fantastic,
It really,
but-
like the movie was continuing without, I mean.
But I
in
think
real
it
life.
takes a lot of balls to go, I was wrong, and to say, let me try and help. And he did. And much to his credit. So, much as he's been booed at certain screenings, which he has in Toronto, because he's the man in the film, but he was great to let them, and the band really wanted to do something with EMI. They really did try. And I think it still may happen in Canada for them. And then Robb's saying, our history is important and it's worth something, and he's right. And then, the rejection from Fraser came pretty quickly soon after he'd gone around the company, and it was just hard. He just couldn't sell it. Limited budgets, the music business crumbling. What can you do? And of course, it was the death of the dream for the boys who'd really, really given everything to the album and tried to sell it.
And
everything.
this great reaction from Robb.
Well, Robb is Robb.
Really frustrated, but very funny, the way he expresses himself.
Feeder pieces of fuck that run the thing. Organized criminals. Drug fucking.
I love the idea. How many drummers does it take to put in a light bulb?
Yeah, I mean, these are regular guys,
Yeah, this is what he does. Robb is brilliant.
It takes one drummer, but two double bass kicks.
Throw pillow. I love that. That's Robb's basement again.
And there's the smoke.
There's the smoke of a gigantic doobie. Oh, and another one.
What am I looking at? Okay.
And they're just going, okay, well, now what?
We've got to get this record out.
Yeah.
These guys are in their 20s.
One way or the other. And this was Rhonda, to the end.
Wanting the best.
Wanting the best for her brother. Still to this day. Please, Sasha, let this film help them. I mean, I've got to say, I don't say it often. I mean, she's an angel. She's an angel, this woman. Just a wonderful, warm. Her whole family was so welcoming to us and the crew. And obviously Robb's sister.
Yeah,
and
the
Robb's wife.
juxtaposition
And
of these
Droid
two
just,
completely different
that day
opinions.
she pulled me aside and said, I need to speak in the film. And of course, we let her speak, and this is how she felt, and she felt it was really depressing that they hadn't given up. She felt that what's the point in their continuing? Come on. And Jane was still hopeful.
Still with the big hair. It's funny when she says that.
Yeah. Jane, I've got to tell you, a very beautiful woman.
And a sweetheart.
And a sweetheart.
And a hard worker.
And an incredibly hard worker, great values.
I've just been trying to be that
And
supportive
Droid.
rock star wife, I guess.
There
and
she
I
is.
Maybe wanted to live that dream as well.
And Jane revealing her reasons. She really wanted her husband to make it. She wanted to have a taste of that, which is fair enough.
I just fell into that 80s scene, and I liked it, I liked it.
Shot in the summer on Rob and Jane's deck. Rob and Lips were outside. Droid was very, very upset. I think there was other things going on at that time. I don't know what they were. But nonetheless, a scene that greatly helped the film.
Yeah, yeah.
10 or 10 million, it will make no difference.
Kind of a little piece of reality, because it is true. They have been going a long time with no success, and to her it was she saw it one way, and of course, the opposite would be Rhonda. Who, no matter what, was just so hopeful, and helpful.
To mass produce 1,000
The hand grenade. Look at that. In the
There's
lower
a hand
right.
grenade. Yeah, it's a live grenade that Rob keeps.
A live grenade, yeah, sure.
I think it is.
No.
Dude, I think it is. It's a live grenade. Dude, it's a live grenade.
Well, I'm sure he
and
told
there's
you
another live
it's
grenade.
a live
This is 13. And look at the Canadian maple leaf stuff. I mean,
Yep.
And here they are. They've made the album. They don't really care. We're going to put it out ourselves.
There
and I've
it
actually
is.
sold quite a few copies at festivals over the past year. I think it's good.
And you can buy it online.
And there's Rob preparing the bud.
Here's the hockey shot.
Here's
that
the
I
hockey
spoke
shot, and I
with
love.
before. It's
Just
really-
watch Rob during this scene.
The ashes fall.
Just the ashes and the breath, and he's.
And Lips talking in the background.
Uh,
And there go the ashes.
And. Bang. Yeah, this is Jasmine. Jasmine Lips' stepdaughter. There's Ginny and there's Avery, and they're watching Ginny's daughter Jasmine play hockey. There she is, number 50.
Great Canadian pastime.
And there's Avery. What a sweetheart. And there's Anvil, Took, the famous Took from Lips. This was really an amazing scene because I remember this was shot at Chris Seuss's house, our cameraman's house on College Street. Ginny was just not wanting to do the interview. And we'd interviewed her for 4 hours the day before, me and Rebecca, and she just wasn't wanting to get into it. You know what I mean? I think she was just resentful of the crew being there, and she was just like, what is this film? And I said, Ginny, look, for this to work, I really need to have the real story, the real emotion. And I remember that I came in and I asked her this one question. And we'd been filming her for 18 months. We'd been filming her, and she hadn't showed a single bit of emotion. She was very defended, and we understood why. And then finally, at the very end, I said, "This is it, Ginny, you know? This is it." And she just, it was just so beautiful, because she realized, you know, that she just loved her husband, because he really had loved her, you know, and we'd never seen that love before. It was so beautiful.
You called me after you shot that. I was here I was here in LA, and you were up there, and you were so excited after.
Well, because I knew that, you know, we'd spent 18 months trying to get her to open up to us, and finally she had, and it was just such a. I think it was a moment as much of a victory for her as it was for us, in one sense.
I love this badminton.
And there's Minnie the dog.
It's really great, him with his son.
And
there's the ring.
And there's the ring that Lips recorded with his own amp. And, you know, we knew, because they'd emailed, we knew that this call was going to come in. And again, it was like Brent going down there with the camera, knowing that, you know, at a certain time the guy was going to call. But we sort of had the news already at that stage, but he hadn't spoken to the guy. And so then he called Rob, and we're off to the races. And a promoter out there had heard the record, because they'd sent it out, and said, "Anvil is still around, let's get him," you know. And they were so excited, because here they were going back to Japan for the first time in 26 years or something. No, it was 84 to 2006, 22 years.
The shot went in
years.
at the
That shot went in
very
the last
end.
minute. Oh, brilliant, Chris Seuss. He just laughed his head off.
The karaoke shot.
And here they are arriving in Tokyo, and we sent Brent with them on the plane. We have tons of like footage of the trip, and Rob wearing a beret, and we just, I've got to tell you, Jeff Renfro did the most brilliant thing there. He split the screen and he went back to the original footage of them arriving in Japan. It was such a brilliant idea. Jeff did such a good job. Don't you think? I love that.
Yeah.
Look at that. And Rob, the angles. You know, and when we shot this, it was in the third largest temple in Japan, and I said to Ray, Jeremy Benning, who shot it on Steadicam, I said, "Last Emperor." The key was Last Emperor, and he just did such an extraordinary job here. Let's just make these guys, suddenly the movie is moving into this sort of mythical, very hopeful, cinematic, magical.
Very different from the European tour.
Very different. You know, we've moved into a different world now.
Sweet shot.
And this incredible music you hear in this scene from David Norland, just played on the piano.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I like the way he kind of incorporated it into the drumming here.
Yeah. I mean, he just did an extraordinary job. And this is where you see David is a film composer of world renown, in my opinion, deserves to be, and certainly has the quality.
11:35.
Yeah.
I came all this
and
distance,
here they are after they've discovered that, and they really were down in the dumps. I mean, it was, at this point, we, the crew, were thinking, okay, well, this is just going to be a disaster. We thought it was literally going to be a disaster, because how can anyone come? You know, because I knew when I went to English festivals, you know, you would go, and the first act of the day, I mean, no one would show up till like 3 in the afternoon. So again, you know, we've come halfway across the world. You know, it's cost us, like, I can't even tell you how many tens of thousands of dollars to get the crew here for this big kind of event. And, you know, we're following the crew, and we walk into the hall, and, I mean, this place is, it doesn't really, you can't really understand how big this place is. It's just unbelievably huge. And there's no seats, which makes it feel even bigger. It's like the kind of place where you could put like 5 space shuttles, you know. And they're going to play this place at 11:35. Who on earth is going to come? And, you know, they were putting on a brave face, Japan, G5 going, well, you know, Anvil, same thing. They're going to give a great show regardless. They're going to play, you know, 40 minutes or whatever it was, and they're going to do it. You know, it doesn't really matter whether it's in Japan to one person or in a bar in Quebec to one person. Anvil gives the same show because they're total professionals. But it was a sad time. And obviously you can see it on Rob's face there. You know, he knows it's another... And then we started to pick up, you know, there was no one in the hall, but we started to pick up a little bit of a vibe and people wanting to come to the show. And as this was going on, I'd taken the crew out, and I actually knew what was going to happen in the end ahead of the band.
But you withheld the
But I
information.
withheld the information. I'd been out with the crew. We couldn't find anyone, and a quarter of a mile away, the Japanese the security guys had kept the crowd back.
And you were also very particular about how you wanted it to be revealed here.
Absolutely.
We worked really hard to make sure that that was withheld from the audience, too.
As well as the band. Now, the band had sort of, because the Japanese crowds are quite quiet, so there were sort of murmurs, but they didn't really hear what was going on. And so this moment that we see here, the band thought, well, there's a few hundred people, you know, and they come out onto the stage, and, you know, you can already see they started to realize, oh my God, I mean, the place was completely packed with 20,000 fans, and you can see, you know, people have said, oh, you got all the fans to be there. It's like, no, how could I possibly do that? You know, the truth is that it was a magic thing. And what we didn't realize at the time is that the band had been put on at 11:35 because they hadn't been back to Japan in 26 years or whatever it was. In other words, the promoter knew that they would be a draw. And so what we thought was an insult was in fact a huge compliment. They were put on early to draw people because Anvil is still a legend from those 2 tours back in the early 80s. And you see it here. I mean, these are not young fans. They're old
Oh, we have
fans.
to look for Atsushi.
Atsushi's coming up, the guy we saw in Sweden. And then I always wanted to do this, to go from the present into the past in the same song. And it was quite a lot to line up both the editing and the music. We had to go on a soundstage and make sure everything worked. And here they are back in their heyday, you know, in '84, jamming to Japan. And it's just such a powerful thing to then cut right back, and you see these are some of those people in the audience were at that very show. That woman there had been at the show, and so these are the same people 25 years later who come back and had never forgotten this band. Obviously some new young fans too. And you see at Sushi, he'll hold up his hat in a minute, from Sweden. He'd been at the original show too. There he is, holds up his hat. And it's such a magical thing that, you know, you don't necessarily get what you want in life, exactly what you want, but you know what, someone, if you're lucky, remembers, and someone, you get something. And it was just so beautiful. And then the elation as we went to Shibuya right afterwards was extraordinary. I mean, Lips and Robb were just in this sort of blissful, like they knew, okay, they hadn't sold the record for $1 million, but, you know, they kind of knew that at least somewhere in the world people cared, you know, and it was so powerful. And they were
he realizes what's important.
Yeah,
and
and Lips said, you know, this is, I realize it. I'm not going to get my dream, but, you know, I'm going to get something which is maybe just as good. And it was so powerful and profound, and we shot all this stuff on Steadicam, and they were amazing. And we it was just some of this sequence is probably the most favorite of mine in the film. It's just so beautifully shot, and that Steadicam shot, I mean, oh my God, I just, it's magical. These 2 14-year-old kids, look at them.
Yeah.
You know, and they made it. They did it on their terms, and here they are. And, you know, there's humor. Extraordinary. Yeah, I like that film.
Yeah, it's good.
There's Rebecca. She's with her nanny right now. Seuss.
And then we brought in, I think we brought back, oh yes, here.
Yeah, here are our cards, and they're working Juggernaut of Justice. And actually, Anvil is about to record Thumbhang for the soundtrack, I think.
I remember talking, Lips was like, why do people like that so much?
Jeff and Andrew. I know. David Norland, beautiful and amazing addition from Mr. David Torn, did brilliant stuff too. And Tiziana Ivan's still together, and she told me she was booking the 3 Tenors tour, and I pointed out that one of them was dead. But she said the brand was still workable. And then the club and there's Adam Lippiatt, the lawyer, negotiating with me there.
You know, this was a great bit that we had in the movie, and again, in many different versions, and it was just such a pity to lose it. It didn't work within the flow and the trajectory that we ultimately ended up, but it works very nicely with the end crawl.
Shot in G5's apartment. What I love is Lips at the end of this is going, you know what? I'm so grateful for all the good stuff that did happen. Doesn't matter that it didn't work out. You know,
a positive attitude again.
And again, it's like whatever life throws at him, he finds a way to be happy, and there's just something so simple and enlightened about his attitude.
And it's a great way to end the movie with.
Because, you know, Robbo in his basement, you know, Yeah, it flies by. You know, and I think by the end, an audience is thinking, well, at the beginning of this movie, I was laughing these guys for kind of being knuckleheads, and here they are, you know, and they're just incredible survivors.
Well, you respect them at this point for
respect
doing
them.
their thing the way they want to.
And they're authentic, and whatever you think of heavy metal, it doesn't really matter because they're doing what they believe in, and they're doing it. And there's Slash, who's just been such an amazing supporter of the film, played with us in Sundance, writing the foreword to the book. I mean, just an amazing, amazing man, and just really wanted to step up along with Lars and the others and really give this band the credit they deserve. And what an amazing guy. And I'm actually, you can hear me playing drums. This is the live drums of me. I went into the studio with David late one night, and I just thought, I'm going to lay it down. It was very funny.
Off into the sunset.
Off into the sunset, and
we have the original picture.
My mum
when
there,
Sasha,
and my grandma, and this picture is taken of me and Lips on the road in 1985.
That's what started it all.
That's what started it all, and we knew we had to end it. I think people needed to know that, you know, the movie was not just made by anyone, but someone who really loved the band. And I think
it only could have been. I mean, a movie like this could not have been made by anyone else.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, not in the same way.
No, it could not have been brought out. What you brought out of these two guys and their
story. I think
story.
it's over.
It is over.
This is Lips.
And Robb Reiner.
And we're all in London right now. This is a day before the film comes out, first time in the world. We're all freaking out. We haven't slept, and here we are in a Soho booth, looking back at 1984. How does it feel, boys?
I wish I was there again.
Well, you are, man.
So does Cozy Powell.
Well, sadly, the Whitesnake drummer has sadly passed. Yeah. How's it feel looking back on this now?
Like ancient history.
Well, it was a long time. Have you still got that cob piece, by the way?
Yeah, it's in the shed, in a suitcase.
Festering.
What about those... I just never get over his zebra skin unitard. Rob, was it hard playing, you know, really serious bass drums with those zebra skin tight pants?
No, you know, most of the time it was like he wasn't even there.
It's like you were playing naked.
Look at the Anvil fans, man. Wow.
And I remember the first time I heard Metal on Metal. You got to hear
Malcolm Dome, living up to his name, but a great supporter of the band. Wow, Lars. Any thoughts on seeing these guys?
Good old Lars.
He's a good dude.
Guys are going to turn the music world upside down.
Seeing them was like a challenge to us to say.
Scott Ian, he just played with us here in London the other night. What an incredible guitar player. What a great supporter of the film. He's the film's official metal liaison. That was his title because he helped secure a lot of these interviews for us. Lemmy.
My brother.
My favorite guy.
Great dude. Malcolm, shot on Claire's couch.
it would be Metal on Metal, and it would be Anvil.
I love that album cover. Didn't that win an award, that album cover?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Heard the music the minute you saw the pictures, the minute you heard the story, you could tell that this was the real deal.
What a great collection of bums. And the famous chainsaw photos, the first photos I saw of the band. And thank you, Rebecca Yeldon, for insisting on that photo.
That just put on this really amazing live performance. Lips, the singer, used to come out with this.
Guys, any comments?
He used to come out.
How's it feel looking at this stuff?
Plays Flying V. I mean, it was just in complete insanity, and that's what.
I don't know. It's a time that was there.
It's come and gone.
Yeah, that's really all I can say. You know,
Lips, just when you were doing this particular move here, what were you thinking?
I was thinking.
What were you thinking? No, literally, when you're humping your Flying V with your dildo.
Phallic.
So you were having fun.
Yeah.
So would you say that there was a sexual connotation to what you were doing?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Because sometimes the imagery is confusing. Rob, have you still got that shirt?
I don't have anything left from those days.
Nothing at all.
There wasn't a bad guy in the band. I mean, they were all great at what they did.
They should have made it a lot bigger, and I don't really understand the reason.
I love that slash light there.
Shit, my mum's calling.
That's the whole thing. If you're not at the right
Mum, I'm a bit busy right now. Yeah, I'll call you back. Bye.
There was an isolation thing because of the Canadian.
Memories of the past.
See, that actually happened when I was 15 and hanging out with them. Was my mum called when I was hanging out with them and freaked out.
They never really got the respect that they deserved after a while because as big as...
How did it make you feel when you learned that Slash felt the way he did about the band?
I was quite blown away. I didn't realize that he actually grew up through the real goods. Anvil.
That's right, dude.
I have no idea.
He loved it. Here we are back in Toronto. It's 2000.
This is Robb's old street, actually.
Yeoman's Road. Was this 2005?
Yeah,
I think we're in 2005, yeah.
Look at that cold old neighborhood.
Basically, it's 7 o'clock. I'm not sure what they're serving up.
Now, tell us about that hat, Lips, because that was a special Anvil. In Canada, they call it a toque, right? Which is a winter hat.
Yeah, we had a number of them made, and they came in various colors.
Yeah, red, yellow, white.
So now you're talking about the menus here.
Which is completely wrong.
Why? Because you got the menus
According
wrong.
to G5, I really had it completely wrong.
But you were rallying between shepherd's pie and meatloaf at one time.
Well, there you go.
Shepherd's pie or something like that.
The little lips on the dashboard was something that Ian Dixon gave to me about 20 years ago.
Ian Dixon is the original bass player in Anvil.
Mm-hmm.
You can see him on another part of this DVD and catch up with him.
Real toy collector.
We love that shot. I remember the cameraman because of the heavy metal in the background, literally. The day we shot at Choice Children's Catering, do you remember what your co-workers' reaction to having us there was?
Well, they're kind of blowing away. That's Cameron.
Cameron's a great guy.
Yeah.
And were they surprised to see this film crew following you around?
Well, I kind of told them it was coming, but they were like...
They didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, they had no idea. They don't...
What about this van?
That's my old shit box.
So what are you doing here? So this is the way you would get the lunches into the schools.
Yeah, this particular delivery was my nightmare.
Why?
Because of the hill. It was awful. And what's really remarkable here is that out of all the days that you filmed, they filmed on a day that it was treacherous like that.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes that hill was completely ice, and I'd literally slide all the way down.
And you couldn't get the van in nearer the back door.
Oh, no, that was it.
I mean, because we filmed this, I remember, it was like a 90-second shot. We just shot you like this.
Awful. Awful delivery.
Well, you did a good job, dude. You got it there.
Yeah. I'm glad it's over with.
But look, victory, man. You emptied your box. This is you in your car. Remember that night? You'd had a very, very bad argument, actually, with your brother that night.
Yeah.
Another story, but you were very... I remember that was a very powerful conversation. We were in the car with you for a couple of hours. This is Robb demoing a sauna.
I remember that was a lot of fun. I still got all those rocks in my backyard.
Great, man. We're writing our new album.
You still got the rocks?
Yeah, all of them, man. I was gonna make something in my backyard.
What?
A waterfall, actually.
And are you still gonna do that?
At my new home, I will.
What, your new home in Malibu?
Anything but where the hell I am now.
I'm really happy.
Okay, this is Heads or Tails. This place is closed now, right? But this place used to be a place you guys played very, very regularly, right?
Well, fairly regularly. I think we did 4 gigs there
right
over the years.
And here
the guy with the cowboy hat, his name is James.
And there's your wife, Ginny, on the left. And now that's Jethro.
Who just passed away, dear friend.
Just passed away, the head of Anvil Security. You can see him on this DVD. Amazing part of the Anvil family.
As the people that love you.
It was a fun party, though.
Yeah, it was a great
that
night.
was a lot of fun.
And there's Cut Loose, Chris Hillis. The original
And
fans.
all right, it's Mad Dog.
Now that guy
he's definitely gotten a lot grayer, though.
Very, actually, famous in his own right amongst the bands.
How?
Well, everybody knows him. He's made himself very visible. Really a big enthusiast.
Can't really say much about Cut Loose, is there? It's just,
Well, they've been
for itself.
those guys have been friends all through the years.
His head seems to have been sharpened. It sort of looks like a Viking. Cut Loose, amazing. But Mad Dog, what an amazing story his is. That's a film in itself, actually.
There he is drinking his beer.
Yeah.
And actually, this was the last time. That was the last time he ever did it. It was right there. For whatever reason, he got a really bad infection in his nose and throat.
Well, after that night.
After that night, and he never done it again.
Yeah, I guess a little barley up there would do it. You know?
That's our
Tony
web guy,
Gallo.
Tony Gallo.
Excellent dude. Really the keeper of all things Anvil. You can go to anvilmetal.tk and see Tony's
It
site.
was my happy fucking 50s
I love
birthday.
that cake. And there's Mike Millich, is that his name? I love this footage that Chris Seuss shot just on the street. You guys hanging out. This is like...
I could use a blast of that right now.
Yeah, we tried to get Universal to score for us, but they're just being a bit corporate right now.
Yeah.
This is a scene I'm familiar with, being in the back of a van, listening to you guys rocking out. That was my youth, that shot right there. The incredible album covers. I mean, people have found this difficult to believe, all these album covers, that they're real, but they're all real.
I know. Well, that's the whole thing. People are going to learn all about the majesty of Anvil.
I love when people say, hey man, I've seen your album. It's the album with the anvil on the
it.
cover.
Yeah, there's 13 of them. And this is John Roberts. I love that this guy was interviewing you.
Band since we were 15, 16 years old.
This is where we learned how to play.
Oh, there's the home.
This is a lot of the beginnings of our whole.
That was a great. That was a great place.
Lots of memories looking at that.
Yeah.
A lot of parties.
I remember being in the basement and partying with you guys, and your mum would always come down and say, boys, it's time for food. And we would be rocking out, and your parents were so understanding. And we would go up, and there would always be food, and there would always be people. Your family really, like, hosted Anvil. Particularly your dad was just extraordinary.
Yeah, he was.
Billy was, like, amazing.
You know, he'd be so proud of what's going on here now.
Lipsomatic.
That's how Lips got his name from Rob's dad, Billy. Said Lips spoke so much, he just couldn't stop talking, so we called him Lipsomatic. So that became Lips, which is the first name of the band Anvil. And this moment
Who could possibly like cactus?
is incredible. That's
There's Gary.
Gary's
That's
green black.
I've known him since I was 3.
And that was shot in the back room of Steve's Music, where he is now a technician repairing amplifiers in Toronto. That was his workshop.
I'd love to eat a Lola right now, too.
I'd love a Lola.
Yeah.
Dude, maybe you should smoke a pound of weed and then you can have 15 Lolas.
Okay, let's start.
I love this footage. I mean, the Anvil backdrop, the bass drums. I mean, this was beautifully
Those
shot.
Those old 28-inch kicks.
Those kick drums are great.
I still got them there in my garage in storage.
Now, how was it doing the Shirley show? You remember this?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And how was it?
I was sitting beside Gil Moore, the drummer of
Triumph, who are not exactly a Triumph, in my opinion, that is.
And Martha from Martha and the Muffins.
Quite. What did you think of Shirley at the time? Remember when she read out your lyrics? What was your... They were really shocked, the audience. Did you like Shirley? Whatever.
I don't know. What am I going to say about her?
I don't know, that you hated her guts. Okay.
Hey, Mom.
I remember when we shot this.
Sweet
Chris
Toby.
Seuss in Florida. What a sweet lady. Amazing. I remember when we premiered the film in Toronto, she came up to me and gave me a big hug. She had tears in her eyes, and she said, thank you for what you did for my son. That was a beautiful moment.
I still eat there. I love that place.
This place is great. It's also frequented by Rush, and the food is great.
We're trying to write it.
The only problem is it's too expensive now.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's really expensive.
It's
really
highway
expensive.
robbery, you know. That place is based on.
Well, you know, it's
greed.
become famous since the movie, and they've hiked their prices
And they're
up.
actually trying to sell it, you know.
I know.
Yeah, they are.
Maybe we should buy it.
Okay, let's do that.
I mean, obviously we can't afford it, but we could. Now, so this is talking about Thumbhang, and I remember the story when you actually, this was the first song that you guys played in the basement, and Rob's father, you played this over and over again for hours, and Rob's father was so upset that he came downstairs, and what did he say?
And he said, if you guys play that one more time, I'm going to wring your fucking neck.
This is my sweet wife, Jano.
Oh, and Droid.
And that's somebody who I'm not sure who that is.
I think that's your sister.
It's a good thing she wore sunglasses.
No, we love Droid. She's a sweetie. That's your son, Tyler.
Yeah, he's going to be
He's
the
working.
next...
He's working in Steve's Music.
Yeah.
And that's Ginny. Now, can I ask you, Lips? Always wanted to know what the hell is going on with those 2 cars in the back.
Well, there's only one left now. He
Yeah, but
had
what was
the
he
extra
doing?
one for parts. It's my next door neighbor.
But surely both of them should be for parts.
Yeah.
Avery. Yeah, I'm sitting in the garden talking to him. He so didn't want to be part of the movie. He was very shy. I remember we filmed him for hours and hours and hours. He wouldn't say anything and he would hide. And then finally he started to open up when he This is in your old rehearsal
Yeah.
studio, right?
Yeah, it's our old studio.
Yeah, we got evicted out of there.
Why? What happened?
Oh, the other guys they were partying too much, and
Oh yeah, because they did some like freebase party.
Yeah, exactly.
It caused a lot
we
of trouble
shared
for
that
us.
place. You'll see that there's actually 2 back lines in there. There's
Right,
another
another
band
band.
that comes in after us.
Yeah, and what? And the owner just flipped out, right?
Yeah, he flipped out.
We just got evicted.
And what? Right. That's really sad. Anyway, you got a
Here's
nice
our brother
place now.
G. You know, there's brother G.
There's brother G, who's still, as we speak, right, living in the new rehearsal studio, right?
Yeah, that's right.
G5 still sleeps on an air mattress in the new rehearsal studio.
And here's our cosmetic application member.
Come on, Ivan was with you for 14 years.
Was with Lips, not me.
Okay.
Tiziana, she's actually an agent, and she's been emailing me. It looks like she's been a big fan of the band.
I mean, it was amazing how this all came together, because I remember in June of 2005, you had met Tiziana in Europe for the Iron Fest, and then we hooked up a month or 2 later, and she started falling in love with Ivan, basically, and so she put together this tour. I think in a way, part of it was because she wanted to spend time with Ivan as much as she loved the band.
Completely.
This whole tour was really about
courting him.
She wanted to fall in love with Ivan, so it was amazing. But when I realized the dates were coming through, we had this very short window which we had to just like go make this movie. So you met her in June, we hooked up again in August, and by November of 2005 we were shooting the film, because I knew that if we didn't film this tour, that it would be a crucial part of the story. And it was like really, we had to move really quickly, because there wasn't time to go and pitch the movie, and this is where...
Yeah, and even before I left, I knew it was going to be pretty much on the edge because of the way it was being arranged. And most of the problems had to do with the logistics and how we were going to get around.
I think that someone said, and I don't want to say who, but someone said that the books in Europe had been booked as if a demented monkey had thrown darts at a board. Because one night you were in Lisbon, the next night you were in Paris, then you were in Germany, then you were in Sweden. And what no one really realized on this tour is that the amount of money that you guys were spending on fuel
Well, actually, what really killed it was paying for the fuel for the support band.
Right. And here you are, though. Sweden Rock, it went extremely well. And again, we had
These
so much.
festivals are so much fun.
So much fun, and they're the real Anvil fans, man. And like you say, without them, what have you got? And over this tour, those guys drove you, right?
That actually picked us up at the train station and drove us to the next gig.
And when we actually made the movie, we shot tons and tons of footage, and we actually filmed 2 tours. And we sort of took the essence of what was happening and we slotted in little different pieces because we wanted to show really the best moments of everything.
The guy that drove me.
And here you are. Great response. That's Robbo, man. He's never happier than when he's rocking.
That's the only place I'm alive.
This is about as common as it gets. This happened to us yesterday.
Yeah, this exact thing happened. Well, I'm sorry, I turned it off.
And once again, please. I turn it off. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Lipsy been there a few thousand times. Hello, everybody. And here we are, Michael Schenker, the legend, man. And this was a big moment. You're in his dressing room.
They look similar.
You know, it's really interesting. Previous to this actually being shot, he did acknowledge that he did remember me.
But Michael's an unusual, interesting
Very
guy.
unusual
He's sort of, I think it's safe to say he's sort of out there.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy.
That's amazing.
Amazing dude, Brian Robertson, guitarist in Thin Lizzy, and the famous Cactus drummer, Carmine Appice.
Yeah, and this was worked out as one of those weird synchronicity things where we'd been talking about Cactus, and here I am talking to the drummer. Who was one of Robb's big influences.
Now, who the hell is Jan Wolfman?
Oh, she was some bimbo from years ago.
But other than that, you have a huge amount of respect for her.
That's right.
Yeah.
At Sushi, this guy.
This is amazing.
Now, this guy here, if you look at he was at the original concert in '84 that we begin the movie with, and if you look very closely at the end, he's in the final crowd. It's amazing.
And he's wearing the same Anvil hat.
Masa Ito, great guy. Again, big Japanese supporters of Anvil.
It was great to see the Japanese, some of them come to Sweden, right? That was quite...
And of course now, JJ French.
Yeah, well, good old JJ,
Amazing guy. And Twisted Sister have been amazingly supportive to this movie. Dee Snider has been just they were great friends to
And I
Anvil.
love the story he tells here because it was such a profound moment when it happened.
Yeah, when you
back in Amsterdam.
because I remember being at the Marquee in the early '80s. Twisted Sister came on, and they were just extraordinary. They were as a live band, they were an incredible live band. And when you blew them off stage,
There was no
amazing,
yeah.
significant, right?
Well, see, the thing was we were in Holland, and it's hard to beat Anvil there.
The Dutch love Anvil, not just the Dutch. This was a great moment where we just, you know, again.
I like how it's like lips running up. Like
I like how
a fan,
you know the
like
fact
like
is the band are fans, and that's why they invited fans on the road. You know, these guys are fans of the music themselves more than anyone. Yeah, this was a fairly typical situation. This again happened several times during the tour. Where on this particular tour, Tiziana,
she had no sense of much.
Well, I think she was trying her best. I don't.
Absolutely,
you know,
she tried
really
her best,
was.
but she just really.
I mean, look, remember,
didn't account for certain.
She was a Swiss
circumstances.
She was a
that's all.
Swiss Italian woman who didn't really speak English very well. And what was interesting to us is meeting Swiss and Italians. They didn't understand her either. So there was definitely a communication issue. I love this bit where Tiziana is just trying to explain where you guys are to try and get someone to pick you up, and obviously, you know, I couldn't believe. I mean, from us, from a filmmaker's point of view, this was like gold. I mean, because she was like,
I could see why.
I mean, look, A like arse.
Yeah.
And then
It's like Sodom.
It's like Sodom. I was just like looking up to the heavens at this point, going, "Thank you, God, please, whoever sent this woman, I owe you," because she was just constant entertainment. In the back of a van.
There's Ivan, about as depressed as he can get.
There you're
he
having
really
porridge.
did not enjoy the road at all.
Well, he's not having fun because there was, you know, he was with a woman and it was causing problems with the band, of course, as it always does.
This is great. We're just rocking
great
through,
stuff, Chiefy,
through
rocking
Europe
out.
here.
Oh, those guys in Greece, I think it was Greece, I can't remember. And then you're in Belgium there. I love that, Robbo. Shaving.
That's amazing, some stuff that.
Yeah. And again, this is footage from all different places of the various times of the band on the road, but of course we had to make it work as one narrative. So we would take shots from certain things to show, you know, the flow of things. But
you know, in general, that was really a fun tour. You know,
it was a great tour.
I had so much fun on that tour. I gotta say.
Oh, and this song, Lips. Tell us about this song. Where did you learn this?
I went to a high school that was predominantly Jewish people. It wasn't an actual Hebrew school by any stretch of the means. Just a lot of Jews that you know that we would call green.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're.
And this guy on the right was freaking out. These guys didn't want to be in the movie.
But he was despicable. The way
No. Look, here's the deal. He was doing his best. Look, the whole problem was that the band showed up hours late. A lot of people left. He was freaking out. You know, I agree. Ultimately, they paid you. You know, they made a settlement.
Yeah, I had to kick butt at the end there. To
yeah,
make
well,
it
you
happen,
had to
you
beat
know.
him up.
Either Lips want to rip his head off, you know.
He was freaking out at this point, going, "I don't want to be in this movie. What is going on with this band?" The support band showed up.
Yeah, this was funny too. You know, having to throw all my shit away for nothing.
I love that you're still angry 3 years later about it. It's awesome.
Yeah, well, when you're listening to a space bunny like Tiziana, you know, it's just not happening.
It's bringing back a lot of memories, not all pleasant, right? Yeah, this was great. But I remember you did an amazing solo that night. It was pretty great. No, I mean, that was the thing about Anvil. However fucked the situation was, however that little money there was, look at the show. I mean, there's always the show.
Oh, we kick ass all the time.
I mean, that was great. Whether you were playing to 2 people or 20,000, same show. This guy was amazing. I nearly got into a fight with him.
But you got to understand that even if there's a few, they're diehards. They've been waiting years to see us.
Like these guys.
Give them what they want.
Exactly. Like this guy here had I think I saw him drink 4 pitchers of beer. And then Peter Criss there in the background, who did not give his permission. I mean, we couldn't believe this. As we were filming it, me and Chris were looking at each other going, this is just mental. I mean, it's completely mental.
It was really chaotic.
I mean, it was crazy. Look at this guy. He's trying to pay you in goulash. And he wouldn't give us a release, which is why his face is all blanked out. You'll see that a couple of times in the film with people that we couldn't find.
Yeah, they just won't sign
they wouldn't
off
sign,
on.
so we just had to. And I remember this little crypt area where you were eating and everyone's freaking out, and then you track the guy down.
If I was too late, I wouldn't have fucking played, pal. You're gonna fucking pay me.
And Lips, I don't really see you like this that often.
No, I never.
Once in a while it happens, but
that really pissed me off. But we had a lot of stuff going on. Like we had to pay for all the fuel on the tour, and the support band was not really a support band.
Yeah.
They were costing us money.
Yeah, but also remember, you know, you were dealing with the Tiziana situation and hours of travel, and everyone was tired. I love it says Rock Paradise there. Now this guy, Adam Lippiott, is a total genius. He was a young Anvil fan, and my God, he was hilarious. We didn't really realize how drunk he was, but he was very, very drunk.
Well, he's holding his own pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, but listen, if you listen closely, you can see how drunk he is. When he says 1,000 minimum, given your reputation, you should be playing in front of 1,000 minimum people.
And you are not. Now you've got to ask yourself, why are you not doing that?
Well, I've been asking myself that for 28 years.
Because you've got a shit manager.
Yeah, I can answer that.
He's right.
One word.
Well.
2 words. 3 words. We haven't got.
Should have been 5 words, really.
I mean, it was just constant. When we shot that scene, I was like, I remember looking at it on the screen in the hotel room afterwards, just going, "Oh my God!"
I don't think anybody could be more pissed off than Robbo. Look at him
Look at this.
standing.
Look at it.
Yeah, look at that.
A moment afterwards, he told
That's
us to
a
turn
really,
off the
really
camera.
pissed off Robbo.
Yeah, man, we fucking ran like motherfuckers to that.
For no reason.
And for nothing.
Well,
because
but this
of
was,
our sweet tour manager.
But this happened on a regular basis. I mean, we couldn't understand how it was just the most insane tour.
Here Tiziana's trying to explain something to me. You can see at the moment I didn't understand what the hell she was talking about.
Well, I mean, you speak
but
English, that's why.
As it turns out, what she's trying to tell me that if she canceled the payments, we'd have no way of getting back. It's crazy.
It was. I remember this was so cold and.
Yeah, well, we
the
ran out of propane.
heating
yeah,
had
we ran out of propane along.
Ran out of propane on day 3. The campus there was no heat. It was November in Transylvania, and Munich it's snowing, and we're sleeping in campers in car parks, and this was a very, very typical situation where you had
promotion.
This would be Tiziana would be like look at the promotion, and she'd be doing it with magic marker, and we'd be like, this can't be serious.
She actually considered that to be really professional.
Well, I think she was.
A lot of people mistake this guy for being G5. It's not G5.
It's not.
It's the drummer of. It's a drummer of Phantom X.
No, it isn't. No. It's Iron Mask, and it's involved. It's to do with the promotion and something he was meant to have done. No one can really understand what that was about, but understandably, at this point, you had just had it. It was just enough because you.
Yeah, it was. Well, the circumstance was crazy.
And it's like Tiziana wasn't really delivering the promotion, and she wasn't really able to deal with it. Everyone's under pressure. You didn't want to play. Everyone's tired. Remember, the plan was after each show, Anvil would get in a van and drive sometimes anywhere between 7 and 14 hours to the next show. So the show would finish, they'd get in a van, drive all night, sleep for a few hours, and then sound check the next show. So you remember we're, quite a few shows in, everyone is exhausted, everyone's cracking. And Tiziana's doing her best, but she's having a breakdown.
Yeah, she broke down, she tried. And then, of course, Robb always the fall guy and everything.
For what? It's so unfair to Anvil. It's so unfair.
How many times?
I was really in pain here, man.
Well, it was a big deal, dude, because there you are, hoping this tour's going to be a huge deal, and it's tough.
Oh yeah. And it was really putting a lot of.
And this was a moment, Lips, where
between us,
Well, this was a moment, Lips, where you weren't even aware the camera was filming.
That's right. He was hiding behind a telephone pole. I wanted to sort this out.
Privately.
I didn't really want to have friction being recorded,
Yeah.
But basically, Robbo had enough, man. There's stupid stuff going on at gigs and
this was
things not being right.
And this was a situation in many shows where, because of the lack of promotion, the band had a lot of fans in all of these towns.
Oh, yeah.
But they just weren't connected with because of the lack of promotion. So. And there was no money, so the money ran out because it was being spent on fuel.
So here's an example of that,
here they are.
We'll just sleep at the airport. Why
sleep
not?
at the airport.
Although we wanted.
Well, we could have taken rooms, but it made no sense for 4 hours.
But also, you didn't have money for food. Remember, that was that choice between either we eat or we all share a hotel room. I mean, that was what was going on, right?
It was an interesting experience sleeping in an airport.
Several times. This was the big one. I mean, we were all excited. We had been told like days before, you know,
Yeah, this
Tiziana
thing
had said
is
it's
gonna
sold
rock.
out.
That's just a bunch of hype.
Yeah, she was saying 5,000 tickets or something, or 10,000 tickets. And, you know, it did seem at this point, we all thought it was actually going to be sold out.
Yeah, but you know what? The other side of it, the small turnout was all that was ever expected to begin with.
Yeah,
And
but
the
we weren't
promoter,
told.
The promoter has been in touch with me ever since this, wanting to have us come back.
Yeah. I see, when these kids showed up and they were lining up outside, I thought, wow, it's going to sell out. We were all excited. This was a communist-era sports hall, and they'd had communist sort of rallies in there, party rallies and gymnastic demonstrations, and now it was being rented for a rock concert. There's Tiziana in her purple leather outfit. She's really into it with Ivan, and at this point, I think other members of the band are getting a little annoyed with the romance. Yeah, these are
That's the actual promoter.
Olymp. And I
Oli.
actually drew this raffle, and the girl who won the weekend at the Black Sea, you know, got very excited.
But, you know, looking at all this stuff, it was still a lot of fun. I had so much fun.
Oh, it was a fun show. It was, look, big stage, huge PA, they had lights, a lot of, like 3 or 4 supporting bands. Anvil were headlining. I never really worked out what was on his fingers, but I occasionally wished that he would plug them into an electrical socket.
Yeah, it would have done him a lot better.
It might have actually improved his singing.
Here's our Spinal Tap moment.
Yeah.
Hello, Cleveland.
There you are, rocking out, man. You were on one last night. I remember the between song like chats were just legendary. I mean, you remember you went off and you were talking about a spaceship and you
No, it's
you
really
went off.
vague to me.
Yeah, oh, I've got it on film, dude. I'm going to show it to you because it's mental. And then the great thing about it was, obviously, you knew, but we didn't reveal to the audience, but you knew there was really not that many people there. And I think the best thing was that you gave this incredible show. It didn't really, that's the whole thing about Anvil.
But we always do.
Yeah, but you always
Yeah.
do.
We always do.
Oh, I know, but what I'm
That's
saying is
our
from an audience point of
opportunity
view.
to play, man. They
but-
could never know who's out there.
Yeah, and look, if there's one Anvil fan whose night you've made, that's all Anvil's about.
You got it,
It's just
man.
about one person. Look, you were happy to just hang out with 24 people afterwards, and
Absolutely.
and it meant a lot to these guys.
Without these people, there is nothing.
That's right.
You know?
That's
So
the
it's-
Anvil way, man. But it's very different to a lot of other bands. Are very dismissive.
Well, we've always cherished the woodworkers.
That's what they're called, the hardcore Anvil fans, the woodworkers. Here we are back in Toronto. And the tour, was not a success, or certainly didn't live up to the expectations, though you'd gigged, and that was good. But here we are back at Children's Choice Catering, and...
Here's my hairnet. That's my wrestler look-alike.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke and the wrestler Lips in Choice Children's Catering.
Difference is, that's real, and he's not.
That's right. That's right. Oh, that guy was a great guy. The guy in the yellow apron.
Yeah,
he
he
was
was a
great.
really
And
good
that guy, they were all these guys at this job were fantastic.
This lady wouldn't let us.
She wouldn't let us, so we actually had to dub her voice and black out her face because her husband was religious and wouldn't allow her to be shown.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know
See
what.
the- see
Could
what
never work
religion
out why
does?
now. But this was the thing that audiences, everyone responds to this. That look,
That I
it was a
dispel all the
disaster, but
stuff.
you were like,
Yeah.
so what?
It was sweet. It was very sweet of Lips to have said all this.
Yeah, but it's the reality. We wouldn't have had a. It's better to have a screwed up tour than no tour at all.
And as you said, than sitting on your couch in Toronto dreaming of being on a tour.
That's right.
Yeah. And this was Tiziana and Ivan's wedding, the inevitable result of that
And
tour.
here we have
Which
Mark
I
Mark
knew was
Gallagher, one of the two
guitarist.
brothers from the band Raven.
Yeah, he's
was
the best man.
Best man. There's Knutson there with the
Eric
sunglasses
Knudsen,
on.
Kiki Knudsen, as he was known. And this was. How did
There's
you feel?
Mark right
how did
there.
you feel about the wedding at this point? Mixed feelings.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah,
kind of
we-
didn't really even want to be there.
Well, I mean, you
We went
realized
there-
that-
we went there just for the respect factor, but we knew that.
I mean, it was sort of over in one sense.
Yeah.
That right at that
Yeah,
point, because
absolutely.
what had happened was Tiziana had come in and fallen in love with Ivan, and I remember being on the road with you guys, and gradually the communication broke down with him, and there was just separation was increasing day by day. It was very tense because what had happened was a woman had come into the frame and essentially caused a division in loyalty, and the brotherhood was broken. I mean, it's a rock and roll cliche, but I had never really seen it go down quite that way. before. It was.
Actually, I think it was well broken before Tiziana was around.
Yeah. Right.
Ivan's heart was never really.
Yeah.
Wasn't really there.
And this is an important moment in the movie where, you know, for the first 25 minutes, it's sort of, you know, people have said, oh, there's similarities to Spinal Tap, you know. And now we get into the real movie, you know, the real story. What, you know, forget the stereotypes. This is the real stuff. This is Gary. You know, and I think the movie has helped them understand a lot more.
I think what he says here is very, very, very well said.
I mean, it was a tough life that he chose for himself. He wasn't going to be a tailor. He wasn't going to go into the menswear business. Stephen is not a businessman. He's an artist. That's who he is. He didn't want to live in mediocrity. He'd rather live in poverty and have nothing. He wanted to prove my father wrong, I think, and he's been...
I remember when we found this footage of your dad, and we were just so happy, because this is the original Super 8 footage that was lost in an attic, and your mother found it, and it just... All these things made such a difference to the film. I mean, seeing you there, you know...
Yeah.
Look at you, man. 13-year-old bar mitzvah boy. There's your brother, Jeffrey, and your mum, and your sister, Rhonda on the left. And this is a really tender part of the film. This is the part of the film where I feel, for us, from the filmmaker point of view, it really began to come alive. Began to transcend the, you know, stereotype, but also became something other than a rock and roll movie. It's a movie about family and endurance and all the things that people go through when they're struggling to, you know, achieve some kind of dream. And I love this photo.
Me too.
And that was a great Ray Dumas shot. The cameraman did this great shot where you see your reflection in there, and I just love that. It really made me happy where you can see that reflection.
Oh, that's my dear mother.
How does it make you feel, Rob, to see all these photos and all this stuff?
Reliving it.
It's the small family that I had.
To get that piece of bread, or he was.
She looks great though, doesn't she?
Yeah, it's your mum.
Virtually on gonna die. Like when they liberated him, he was gonna.
And what people don't know is that your grandfather actually passed away at Auschwitz, right by your father's side.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't usually. I just don't usually talk about it.
No sense dwelling on it. It's can't change it.
Mm-hmm. But it was to us an incredibly important part of the story.
His trip was, man, just fucking do it. You know, you're happy.
My father.
The first time watching this section, I was completely shocked. This picture completely. I was crying. I mean, that's the look of a man who's survived, yeah. Look at what I'm holding, something so precious.
I've never had them off my neck.
And I've only torn them off once. And it was by accident.
Well.
We were scuffling, man.
Look, don't get into it now, for God's sake. And I love this shot because you're talking about mortality and getting old. And by coincidence, as we shot this, if you see on the left, these two old people, it was just happenstance.
There's so much magic captured in this whole thing, you know.
And you can see in the background the Lips telephone and all the Lips things.
Yeah, my wife's been collecting all that stuff now for a number of years.
On your couch in the living room.
I'm wearing my hemp Anvil t-shirt.
And Rob's wearing his tough duck waistcoat, which looks like literally it's been through several wars. And I've got to say...
More like a dead duck.
It actually does smell like sort of a horse that hasn't been washed for 12 to 14 years. I think you still wear it sometimes. It does tend to clear the room.
That's the original one. I have a new one now.
Good, but the original I think you should probably not wear anymore.
Should make it to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame museum.
I did have to have a specially air-conditioned unit because it's really quite bad.
This is very interesting.
Oh, I love
there's
this footage.
Bess
There's Bess Wiley, you can see in the book, and there's Squirrely. And
there's Colin Brown, Mad Dog
Brown,
in the background.
Mad Dog.
The marital there.
I love this. This was a film that was shot for Much Music, correct? At the time when you were recording Metal on Metal, they came into the studio.
See, there's Mad Dog.
There's Mad Dog, yeah. Looking like Lionel Richie.
And there's CT.
He could have said his name more
Chris
correctly.
Tangarides, yeah, and he just...
The last thing I did...
Who's that guy on the left?
Andrew.
Who is Andrew Warwick?
He's his assistant.
Right, got it. There's Lips. Look at you, man. You look like 10 years old. There's CT with his Viking mustache. He looks like he's in charge of a longboat. Canadian ones. No idea what he's talking about there. Canadian musical tendencies. What does he mean? Like Anne Reddy?
We never really were sure what that all was.
No, I didn't really understand what it meant. What was great about making the movie is you realized, like, you know, this was it. It sort of articulated where you were, and there was this real desire, I think, partially because the movie was being made, to really just go for it. You know, it kind of amped things up, and you were just like, well, fuck it. It's been 25 years. You may as well reach out to CT, who obviously had produced your seminal Metal and Fortune Fire.
It was a great thing that we did.
And in between all this going on, we had these great intimate moments. And I remember Avery, this was at the point where he still wasn't talking to us. And a lot of the stuff we shot, just with the Robb interview about his family, and also this stuff, you know, I'd never got the background to a lot of this stuff. So I didn't really understand the artwork.
Here's the old, that's Tyler's drum kit that I actually practiced
His son's drum kit. I remember we had some great times. What are those master tapes? Are they hard and heavy?
Yeah, they're hard and heavy,
First
strength
album.
of steel and all that
Strength
stuff.
of steel.
Here's all these paintings.
I love these paintings. And I
Yeah.
said to Robb, we've got to have them in the movie. And you were sort of not sure at first, and then you recognized, let's do it.
Well, you convinced me, and because I've kept this stuff private, you know, I've been very selfish with it as well.
But you know what's beautiful about it is people really get to understand you. You know, the sort of quiet, plaintive.
Yes, I'm quite happy that you convinced me, because it's I've only had pure respect and love for this work.
Well, I think it's, again, you know, aspects of people that you just don't expect, you know. I love that one of Steve's restaurant. We used to eat there when I was a kid. You used to take me there all the time. It was a great place to eat.
That's where he used to live over Sunrise.
That's right.
I used to live there.
And this, I don't know what to say about
This was going to be the cover for a best of called Monuments of Metal.
And in fact, it's going to be the model for the new stage show, right? Because we're in plans. We're actually going to be building a 40 feet high anvil for the new stage show, and Robb's drums will be nestled. Those type of drums will be nestled in the heart of the anvil, and then there'll be a staircase, and you can come down to visit Robb during his solo.
Okay,
pay a visit. That's what he said.
I can't wait till we do
Let's
something
hope that the staircase doesn't get me stuck up there.
Well,
like
dude,
in
you'll
the
be on
Spinal Tap
wireless.
moment.
Now, this really was now when you opened the door and revealed this, we didn't really know what you were going to do. I actually had to leave the house because when you presented this,
You know, it was Lips that talked me into painting this picture.
What?
It was Lips who talked me into it. Yeah, Lips
I
talked
told
me
him,
into it.
listen, man, you want to really make a mark, you got to do something really.
I think he made more than a mark. I think he made a.
People have to understand it's not that it's not that this is actually a German toilet.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. That's just a toilet in Germany. That's all.
Yeah, but it also is a used toilet in Germany. I mean, that's the other thing. It's not just a toilet. It's got a gigantic.
And CT's message on the message machine.
Yeah, that was great.
After I'd sent them the demo.
What was great about this was Brent J. Craig, our intrepid cameraman, was in Toronto. He lived only a few blocks from you. So when stuff would go on, Lips would pick up the phone and say, come on over, and Brent would just
like
be
at that point, I got a message from CT. He says, well, wait till I get there and then call him.
Yeah, and so basically we had a unit in Toronto to capture all these moments, which was great. So we had a cameraman within maybe 15 minutes of Lips's house for over 2 years. And that was really helpful to the movie because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to capture all these incredible...
I remember it was really exciting when we finally reconnected with CT.
Well, of course.
Just when all this started happening, it was like, wow, he's actually still out there and he's still producing.
Still doing it, yeah.
And he loved our new material that we sent him. That made me feel very, very excited.
Well, it was great. And he flew you to London.
Yeah, and then here, like, I can remember when we walked in this
and then
room.
This is the Dorchester Hotel, room
there
610.
He is. I was like, oh my God, look at him.
And it was freaked out. And CT gave us a fine lunch. That's his manager, and who's also there. And I love the way they was shot. This guy Balaz shot this stuff, and it was just beautiful. It was just the light was wonderful. We shot on a Sony Z1U. It was very easy. A lot of the movie was shot on that camera, and it was just so good to be able to capture these very candid moments very simply and easily without too much. This was all onboard sound. We had a lot of sound mixing. This is some technical stuff here that I still not very happy about the sound in a couple of places, but I love that shot. Perfect picture there. The light on their faces and perspective.
We get so much. If it doesn't sell.
And CT was really right. He was like, look, if we can just, let's try and find the money to do this ourselves, then we own it, and then...
I'm glad we did it the way we did it.
Because otherwise we would have, it would have been owned by someone else. And then, obviously, this was, to him, this was keeping the lights on. To you, this was a huge amount of cash.
Yeah.
And I remember you being really worried.
Well, that was only a down payment.
Yeah.
I understand that. That's what I was mostly concerned about.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the initial payment. It was everything that's going to come after it.
Right.
Of course, this is an expense.
Man, it looks cold.
It was cold. I remember Chris, who shot this again, a brilliant cameraman. Couldn't have been luckier. I love the way he works the camera. You just see the...
See, actually, what I was doing here is I was checking on the apartment that my brother and I were kind of looking over.
But obviously you had other things on your mind. You know, you had a lot of stuff on your mind.
Yeah.
Like, how the hell are you going to pay for this record? And then when you told me you were doing this, you know, I couldn't believe it. So we immediately came and shot you as you worked at this place. I was, you know, you were initially embarrassed to tell me what you were doing, but I said to you, this is really important that we include this in the movie because this is the reality, you know what I mean? This is what Lips of Anvil, you know, has to do, to try and do. And cut loose.
Well, I couldn't go back to the catering company. I'd taken too much time off.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I had enough of breaking my back lifting those.
So you thought, you'll try this, and I love always be closing there. And I think Cut Loose was really trying to help, and he thought, you know, maybe you can...
Yeah, I think he's kind of feels bad even now that it didn't work out.
But, you know, this is... Well, I think the thing that people have said to me, at least, is what's amazing about this is you were willing to do it, but even under the worst circumstances where you needed to get money for this record, you just would not compromise. You would not break the integrity of doing something that you ultimately felt was dishonest. You just wouldn't do it.
That's true.
I mean, your heart wasn't in it.
No, if you...
I mean, look at it.
You really have to be...
Because you see these guys behind, and they're all just like machines, and they're like, this is the quota, and you've got these calls, and, you know, they're trying to get you into it, and this guy was just
It doesn't matter about integrity here. What you're doing is selling a product. I've been trained my whole life to be polite. It doesn't even matter if it's a piece of junk.
Yeah.
Get it sold.
Well, let's face it, it was not your natural habitat.
No, not at all.
Know, it's not
I mean, if it had been guitars, I might have been able to sell a couple.
Yeah.
But certainly not sunglasses.
Or an embossed flashlight was the other thing I remember you were saying.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Bill. It's Steve Powers.
Have to give a fake name.
I mean, just watching you do this was horrific. We were feeling as awkward as you were because it was just like, oh my God.
I couldn't wait to get out of there.
It was brutal. And then I remember...
Like, I'd done a few days and then...
Too much.
Said, come on, we got to go back. I go, oh, don't make me go back.
And this was, you know...
this was a heavy moment.
This was a heavy moment. I remember when we walked in that night to film you, and it was like... all of this stuff, and it was just... You walked into that room. The energy in that room as we were filming was unbelievably powerful.
Yeah.
Just, there was a sense of, if this thing doesn't come together, the whole 25, 30 years of it is just going to suddenly dissolve. And I think...
Everybody believes in Lips. That's an incredible thing.
This is very, very heavy. I'll never forget this.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we were there to film was just extraordinary.
I was really distraught.
Well, tell me about it, dude. Everything was on top. You had so many personal things going on at the time, and that's, to me, one of the most powerful moments in the movie right there. It's just unbelievably powerful. Just
fucking risk, yeah. At what cost? So there's cliffs I can go jump off. That's the easy way.
Yeah. When I heard that, you know, it was like, no.
And then the
no
two
way.
of you, man, it's like, it really, that moment laid bare this bond that exists between you that goes back to when you were 14, and it was just so emotional
that really
and powerful.
That cut deep in there for me.
Yeah, I can see the look in your eye there. You look pretty...
30 years, man, of having somebody dedicated to me. He believes in me. Lips is my buddy, man. He's gonna we're gonna do it together. We're gonna get...
Yeah, I remember being in that room, all of us. That was very, very tense. Very emotional.
Well, it was like, it's all gonna happen or it's not.
We're gonna be rock stars. It's a fucking dream.
And there was...
But I'm gonna make it come true.
Wow. Just seeing that scene, man, that's incredibly powerful.
That's very, very, very powerful.
He will always have what he's done in the past, but you've got to, if it's over, then you've got to find something else to do.
He's got a son, he's got a wife, he's got 2 stepdaughters, right? I mean, he's got a mortgage.
Yeah. I remember shooting this at your house, Robbo, and Jane was so amazing to us. She just looked after us that day, and she said, Sasha, whatever happened to you? And you had a dog, apparently.
Yeah, and, it was a little last one.
After I disappeared, they got Anvil, Rob and Jane got a dog.
She named it after you.
And she named it after me. So it was it's in the book. There's a photo of the dog called Sasha. I love that photo. Amazing.
How long do I have to keep?
you know, Jane saying how it is, you know. How long's it going to be?
Yeah.
And Droid saying the band isn't getting what they deserve.
Oh, well, what can you do?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. I was gonna not till tomorrow. Oh, the first is tonight. I thought it was Boxing Day. No.
I've always believed that no matter
This is Christmas. I remember that Chris Seuss shot this footage. It was fantastic.
It was
I
Jasmine.
this to me just was the real. Seeing this stuff with you and Avery, it just. I think it makes the audience realize that, you know, you're an amazing dad. You really love your family, you know, and you're doing this thing and you're trying to do everything. And what happens next with Rhonda is just beautiful. There's Avery.
He's really funny.
It's a typical Lips moment. You are buttering toast. I can't tell you how many times I've been with you buttering toast. And then Rhonda, I mean, what can you say about this scene? What she did was incredible. And again, people have always pointed out
It's beautiful love.
the contrast between Rhonda, who's, you know, sort of quite proper and prim. Here she is in her kind of canary yellow kind of summer drawing room. And, you know, she loves her rocker brother. You know what I mean? And it's just, that's pure love, man.
Yeah, it's very nice. Lips is lucky to have such a loving sister.
My big sister, man. Cool. Family's important shit, man.
Yeah, like I was choked up. I was choked up
And, you know,
and I was trying to get some way out of it.
And at Sundance, that was the button. Family's important shit, man. That button, everyone was wearing it at Sundance. It was
Rhonda's
amazing.
been so good to me, man, my whole life.
And now, currently, you're working with your sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She gave me, her and her husband gave me a job at their air conditioning company doing all the...
the coroner's office.
The filing and stuff like that.
She does the filing for the coroner's office in Toronto. they own the refrigeration units that house the bodies. Deal in Kent.
Actually,
And I love this.
Deal.
I love this David Nolan piano music. I remember recording it with him on this out of tune piano in his studio in Hollywood.
One day I'm making a painting of that right there.
CT in his house. I love when he throws the apple. I don't know why. The school teacher. Hello, Mr. Chips. And CT, you know, taking quite a sober view of things and saying, you know, this is how it's been and this is the
only thing that
reality.
he should have was not factual was the song factor, but everything else is true.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how he could make a statement he hasn't listened to or anything that he hasn't produced. If he didn't produce it, he won't listen to it.
Yeah.
We tried to get him to listen to a couple of cuts and he listens to a few seconds and insists he has to leave the room or do something. So I don't think he really knows what's on our other records.
Well, you know, you'd lost touch with him for 25
Yeah.
years. The most important thing is
mostly then he knows what's on our new records.
Yeah,
that's all.
exactly. Who cares about his opinions?
We helped him. We actually helped him finish that studio room there.
I know.
We actually helped him finish building it.
I remember you were recording Bombs Away there. And the story of this is CT actually hits a piece of equipment that truly, truly does go to 11. And the story behind this
There
is
it
after,
is, yeah.
after Spinal Tap, equipment companies began to make racking equipment for
Yeah.
studios that went to 11. So this was the piece of equipment that was in his studio. Again, the parallels with Spinal Tap were
inspiring
unavoidable.
it, yeah. Companies do that. I
Rob doing one of
actually
his-
made a painting of that sketch.
Yeah.
I have a painting of that now.
This is a good little fucking catchy tune, man. I mean, it's straightforward and metal.
Punk pop. I remember after this we cut this, we didn't include it.
Yeah,
Punk
because
pop.
it actually was. You
He
weren't
called it-
really talking
he called
about
it pop
Bombs
metal.
Away. You were talking about some other song.
But then you called it Petal, which is pop and metal.
Oh, okay, I've never seen that.
Yeah, yeah. We just couldn't fit it in. I love that. It reminded me of Local Hero, that shot. I love that shot. And this is how you would eat. You would eat spaghetti. You would eat very simple things because there was no money, really. And you lived in the scout camp.
Well, I either G5 or myself were the domestics, as Rob would call us.
How many weeks did you spend at the scout camp?
9 weeks.
9 weeks, that's right.
Yeah, almost 3 months there.
Wow.
You know what? I'm doing some other stuff that's I wasn't anticipating. That's good. Okay. Tarot cards and tea leaves.
This is a great track.
I love your little Canada flag.
Yeah,
on your hat there.
we're in deep concentration here.
To tell. feel the unknown. Chub, you see.
What is that Chub you see? What is that? What is that? What is that? What are you saying? Chub you see? Do you know what that is? You
I don't know. It's so clipped. I can't tell what's going on. Anticipation.
That's all right.
Something.
Yeah, so I'm listening there.
And this has happened. This is actually exactly how it happened. As we were all leaving for the pub, Chris Seuss suddenly heard you two as we were all leaving to have a break, and he just grabbed. He grabbed the Z1U.
Lips is having a moment here, you know.
He grabbed the Z1U and he caught all of this stuff.
Look at CT.
CT's like,
It's
okay,
really.
gentlemen.
It's going. I've lived this before.
Yeah.
In '83.
You know, and I think at this point, the pressure of the stress of you've been here for weeks, you know, everything's riding on the record was a lot. It was just a lot of pressure.
Oh, what it is you both have the same goal, but one person wants it there already, and the other person, it just seems like it's taking too long to get there.
Well, I mean, listen, you were there for nearly 3 months. I mean, it was a long time to be at a scout camp recording one record. You know, there was a lot. Everything was riding on it. You know? So of course, there's going to be stresses and tensions.
I love this part, like, you know, like being fired when I can't be fired. I love that part.
Yeah, but you know, so many things are said in the heat of the moment by both of you.
I love it.
You know,
it's great. Hearing this line makes me just laugh.
You get all pissed off, man.
And I loved it when Chris, the cameraman, who's so brilliant, just held and just let you walk off, didn't follow you. It was just perfect. He really understood what to do intuitively.
This is a mind-blowing
yeah,
scene
and this
here.
was a shot I loved. I said to Ray Dumas,
Well,
I
that
said,
really demonstrates
go ahead of
turbulence.
him. So we had the crew running ahead and then setting up, and it was, I said, David Lean.
This has got to be the worst apology scene I've ever seen in my life.
And that Coke can on the left, Rob was so frustrated and angry that he crushed that Coke can with his bare hands because he was so infuriated. And
Well, so, you know,
G5 saw lips
you know,
arriving through the
when your
window.
brother's shitting on you, you know, it's not easy to handle when it's continuously going on.
Okay.
Well, I would have liked to hear that.
Okay, just look at me. Look in my eye, and I want to talk to you.
I love it when you look quickly. Bye. Look at me. Awesome.
Well, I wasn't happy, man.
No, of course. I'm not saying it.
Who could be pleased with this, you know?
No, but what I'm saying is looking back on it now,
Yeah,
it's a moment in time, you know.
Don't want negative energy around
Fuck you, man. There's no positive.
Yes, it is.
Everybody gets enjoyment out of watching other people's pain.
But, you know, they get enjoyment out of watching people transcend their pain. You know, ultimately, this is an argument.
I mean, it's not necessarily.
Everyone
You know
can
what?
relate
It's
to
not.
it.
It's not necessarily the argument. It's how you get through the
That's
argument.
right, that's right. This is going through the tough stuff and people are witnessing it. But the point is, it's where you end up.
It's amazing you had cameras going on this because, you know, this stuff
didn't even
has only
realize.
happened maybe, you know, a half a dozen times in our entire friendship.
I know, but, you know, that was
over 30 years, you know?
That was the you know, this was the moment.
Said it's over amplified, and the recipient.
I love the way CT deals with it here. Whatever reason. I love the CT. He's so brilliant. He's so used to dealing with bands in crisis. And of course, as we were filming this, I was thinking some kind of monster. I was thinking, my God, we're just tearing that up. Because this is the real version, right? You know, it's a.
Well,
and then,
as it
and then,
turned out, yeah.
and then, you know, this was what was incredible. This scene. It was just unbelievable. You just. This honesty, this rawness. You know, people just.
Yeah, but that's cool, man. I know that's what you are, man. But the bottom line is, why am I your fall guy? Constant fucking lead. When I'm there for
Because I love you. That's why.
Because when I'm there for you, fucking
That's
constantly.
powerful.
Well, he does. He does, man. Do you want to hear what he says about you?
You're my fucking brother, man. Who else can I fucking cry on their shoulder or fucking say shit to?
Yeah.
Who else?
Yeah.
Who's the closest person I got in the world?
Yeah, that's very, very, very profoundly heavy.
And you were thinking about that, weren't you? That moment. You're thinking
Yeah,
about
look,
what that.
I'm thinking all right, man.
It's the only thing I could answer at the moment.
Yeah, yeah.
What else? What else am I gonna say?
Yeah.
What have I got? You're the closest person I have.
You don't argue
Look at this.
with
Look at
people
that.
you don't
widen
know.
out. Chris Seuss, brilliant shooting, brilliant camera work. He was right in the emotional heart of that scene, and he just pulled out.
I asked Chris how he felt about it. He goes, it was like gold dropping from heaven.
Absolutely. We all felt that.
I ain't stressed about nothing, man. I get stressed.
Well, I am.
I get stressed when you start fucking blowing it on me.
By the way, this argument actually went on for about 7 hours. So it just went back and forth and back. I mean, it was just like it was like When We Were Kings, but metal version.
Rob, if you look at it in the great scheme of things, it's a very, very tiny.
But you know what? This is actually the heart of the movie, though.
Yeah. Oh no.
For
totally.
me, I'd say this is really the heart of the movie.
Yeah. This whole sequence is really powerful stuff because you realize what you guys
what the bond is by it reveals the depth of the relationship.
That's
right.
Why. Just like after the telemarketing scene, you have and you see, you know, you've just got each other and you're in this lifeboat together, and if you don't work it out, you ain't gonna survive. And what I love also here is this incredible music by David Norland. I mean, you listen to that music, man. This guy is a total genius. We worked in the studio together. I've known him since I was 15 years old, and because of that, we're really connected. He knew me at school when I was completely into Anvil, and he used to tease me about, well, who is this band Anvil? So 25 years later, Norland comes back and does this unbelievable score for the film, his first film score.
Stonehenge is I love this place. This is
and this is
my
I
second
wasn't
or third time here.
I wasn't even there for that. You guys decided to take off, and we just sent this guy Diz Toba with you guys to see Stonehenge.
You know, it's such a profound place. I feel there's magic there. When I go there, I always leave there feeling healed. You know.
Merlin did it. Either that or Satan was running.
I remember we had such sound problems with this. It was like a nightmare. We had onboard sound. We spent one full day on Todd AO in Hollywood trying to hear what you were saying. Luckily we had a brilliant sound engineer called Jeffrey Bay who was really incredible. And this, you could have been arrested for this, Lips, is that right?
Yeah, I'm not supposed to do that.
Really? I actually went first, and then Lips went after.
I love that shot. It's beautiful. And here you are arriving back home.
In studio with me is Lips from Anvil, along with
William Howell. Old supporter of Anvil. Signed you, right?
Yeah, he's a woodworker.
And actually, during this interview, he showed us his high school homework, where he did, when he was 15, he did a drawing of Lips, right, with your guitar, and he brought it out and he got you guys to sign it. He's like an old fan of the band. And that's John Sutherland in the background, journalist, right?
Yeah.
Also an Anvil fan from back in the day.
Know that it's there.
Tell you what, this is going to be not only the world premiere here on KDC.com, but world premiere.
It was cool they played it on the radio.
Yeah.
This is 13.
Here you are hawking your wares in Beverly Hills. I remember it was really, really grey and overcast, not the Hollywood you see in Beverly Hills 90210, but sort of really gloomy, which sort of suited the mood of what was going on, where you're just driving up and down Sunset with copies of the album, dropping them off to people who are, you know, barely even aware of what's going on. And you'd called ahead to some places, and you just showed up.
There's a shot coming up here that I love. When Lips is walking right there. The shot.
That's great.
I love
the
this
big
shot.
music business and the little speck.
I love that shot.
Artist. Well, that's Chris Seuss.
Yeah, he's sick. In a good way.
G5 loves this. The way I press the button.
Why?
I don't know. It says there's something about it.
Wow, this is in my garden. Do you remember that? This is one of the many times you would come to my house and you would stay for periods while we were doing all this, and you used to hang out here and look at the. And luckily, my garden was quite burnt out. That's like a sort of nuclear holocaust suntanning place.
It's my car.
Great.
My
car.
dad's car.
That's right. And here we are, EMI, the only place that would really take a meeting at this point. Luckily, a big record company, and Fraser Hill. Head of A&R.
The legendary Fraser.
The legendary. A man who has since this scene become a great supporter of the band.
Yeah, it's
fair to say that lesser record company men would have just seen this and gone, well, they were terrible. But rather than that, you know, I think he realized his mistake, and he saw the film, and I think he understood the story and really started listening to the music properly. Again, this is a time when the music business is crumbling.
Yeah,
and decisions have to be-
Particularly EMI.
particularly EMI, yeah. And so here he is going, how can I sell this? The landscape has changed, a phrase that he
And
now
we've used
uses.
his own words against him.
We said, hey, Fraser, I guess the landscape has changed. Yeah. And you were really trying hard saying this needs to be done properly, and you were right.
On anything less than that. Somebody better do this justice. It hurts so bad because everything else was done so correctly. And that's what was wrong with Attic Records, those the Metal on Metal and Forge and Fire albums. Those were classic albums. They are classic albums, but recorded for an independent who fumbled the ball. The fumbling of the ball was dropping the band as a request to David Krebs.
The old manager. You can see the
Which is kind of sad. Had Al Mayer stuck to his guns, things may have turned out a lot differently.
Exactly.
Al Mayer used to run your old record company, Attic, and David Krebs, who managed the Scorpions and AC/DC, was your manager.
And strong-armed them. Strong-armed Al to let us go.
And here he is, Fraser, doing his best. And I know he did really try, and he played it internally, and it was just marketing-wise. At that point, it was a struggle for those guys to understand what it was.
He actually really told us that our history is worth was worth money.
That's right.
A lot of money.
No, he saw there was an opportunity there. I think that his hands were tied because they weren't signing anyone anyway. So
the company is melting down.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course,
one of many of these lovely letters.
Yeah, this was one of many actually, which was tough.
This is not good.
And none of these people realize that there's, how big is metal? How well does metal do?
It'll never get better.
The bottom feeders.
Yeah, here I'm just telling it like it is,
Organized criminals, drug fucking runners, like that.
It's the business of music that is really I don't like.
Well, it's a changing business now. It doesn't exist in the same way it did.
Fucking tape, and his desk is piled up.
This is in your basement, Rob, right?
Yeah.
And
interesting here, I'm talking about the way it looked in William Howell's office when I walked into Metal Blade in 1987. You couldn't even see him through the pile of tapes and stuff.
Oh, this was such a great day with Rhonda. She put on this amazing brunch for me and the crew. We were going to interview her. She made these special cakes and fruit salads, and she just was just fantastic all the way through the whole production of the movie. Rhonda was just like, I really want this to help my brother. I really want this to help my brother. And I love this because the shot, if you look at it, the colors are so wonderful. We shot it on Vericam, and I got to tell you, Rob, I think that your wife looks rather beautiful.
Yeah, there's the ultimate rock and roll wife. She's been, what can I say?
She's been by your side for how many years is it now?
30. And here, you can see my sister trying to drag her away, and she completely won't. She holds her own, and I love it.
Yeah.
She really holds her own, and that's
really commendable.
Yeah, that's Jano. That's my Jano.
She really does love you, buddy. A lucky man.
Supportive rock star wife, I guess, that I've maybe wanted to live that dream as well.
And she's very honest,
Yeah, no, this is great. And she does look great.
And I love the way she just does the following thing.
I bought her that shirt in L.A.
I love the way she flicked her hair.
Nowadays, you keep dreaming that dream, but I'm still dreaming, I guess, as much as what they are.
She's still hopeful at this point, which is great. Always hopeful, always supportive. And the band's attitude is like, fuck them. Who cares? We're going to do it, We're doing it ourselves.
She's a great girl.
It was successful because, to me, it sounds the best we've ever sounded, and that's a success.
This is great that day, Elif.
Yeah.
And I remember this guy, he was so excited that he was going to be in a movie.
Voila, Anvil CDs, man.
He was barely able to contain himself. Yeah. And there's the live grenade.
Yeah.
Look at all the old Anvil promo.
And the old Anvil promo. And then there's glue. And then there's that place was just mental. Here they are, this is 13. You can buy that record, anvilmetal.tk and anvilmovie.com. Please feel free. There's merchandise too.
Absolutely.
Hey, and join the Anvil Facebook group, anvilmovie.com.
From a record company, it's pointless.
Here's the old
Tyler.
van.
And I love those. That maple leaf shirt.
For it to begin with, and now there's no one in between.
Here you are. I just love this, Robert. You're just like in your own
Yeah.
world, just token up. You're blazing up for all Canada to see.
Got a great head start.
Well, it's called, well, it's just called, you know,
I think at a very
medication.
Oh gosh, Jasmine's hockey match.
Yeah.
Family activity.
Actually, it just had missed her dumping one into the goal.
Yeah, she scored that day as we
Yeah.
filmed her, yeah. I love Avery, man. He's just, look at him.
It's more than just his career, but it still is, at the end of the day, his job. It defines a little bit.
I think we said in the other DVD commentary that we'd interviewed your wife for 2 years, and this was the last interview. We were in the last 5 minutes on our last weekend of shooting, and
Yeah, she'd be difficult to get any emotion
She
out
was
of. She's
difficult to
like
get
very,
emotion.
very, very straight-laced.
And I remember
very
Rebecca was asking her
controlled
questions.
woman, you know.
And I said to Ginny, I said, listen, Ginny, man, I know what the truth is. I know how you feel, and it's so important for women in the audience, you know, who've had similar experiences supporting their husbands. I said, you know, connect with them. Show them what it's been like. Show them how you feel. And this was the very last question, and we had 5 minutes on the tape.
When I criticize him
And
family, he internalizes that way too much.
and then she
Oh, we were going through a little bit of stress during this period of time too, so she was a bit on edge.
But it was so beautiful because look how the tears just drop out, and she's just.
I think even he knows that.
You just see her love for you, you know.
That the family is what's important. Look what you made me do. You made me cry.
She feels so embarrassed that I made her cry.
There's Minnie.
There's Minnie, the
There's
dog, and that dog. My God, the farts that dog does are just cataclysmic. We were eating pizza. That dog cleared the room.
They smell wicked under the bed sheets.
They really don't.
Oh.
Dude, that's just. But I love this. This is how I would see often that you would be playing with Avery badminton.
Yeah,
every afternoon.
My old phone.
And this was great because we knew from an email that the Japanese guy was going to call you, and this was another instance of, Brent, get over here. So we sort of had an idea that something good was going to happen, and then
Although you couldn't tell much about what he was saying to me.
right,
But
and then you called Robbo, and let's rock. And that was great, man. It's like such a great lesson. Like, even though the album hadn't been accepted by the record companies, new Anvil music had got out there all over the place. And people from Germany and Scandinavia, in this case Japan, had heard it, and they were like, Anvil, let's get them over here. That was, you know, again, the unexpected stuff that happens when you go for it, you know? You don't get the obvious thing, but maybe the unexpected thing happens.
I love this segue here.
Yeah, Chris Sue's shot.
Yeah, that's a really cool
That's the
segue.
karaoke shot. And again, I mentioned on the other commentary the brilliant work Jeff Renfro did here in doing the split screen, which was an idea that I'd hoped we could pull off, and we managed to do it. I'm very happy with this stuff.
I'm wearing my glasses because I've been up all night.
I love that.
There's Brick.
This garden, I've named this the Garden of Brotherhood.
That was a magical day, man. There was something in the air that day.
It was a beautiful place.
I love the piece of music.
Well, it's David Norland.
I was there when he created it.
You saw me and Dave?
Yeah, it was.
Do you remember?
It was amazing.
He was in the studio, and remember when I added the last refrain?
Yeah, there was like a last chord.
Yeah, and I wrote it, the last bit with Dave. And Lips was right there, and we all knew we had something magical.
And by this time, Ivan was pretty much making himself extremely aloof.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, this is wild too, man. Finding out that we're on at that time was mind-blowing.
Yeah, it was quite depressing. I mean, we were all depressed, you know, but anyway.
Really worried.
Is anybody going to show up? I've been in a situation where I've had 5 people in a place that holds 2,000, and it's not a good feeling. It really isn't.
it'd be very disappointing if there's less than 500 people, because from what I understand...
That was a nice morning walk over there.
Yeah, it was quite a long walk, I remember. It was about a mile to the hotel.
Listen, for me, I'll play for no one.
But we were psyched to rock, I know that.
Yeah, but you were expecting at that point, if you could have got 500 people, you would have been pleased. But we were worried it was going to be like closer to 200. And as you can see
at
in
11
that
in the morning, you never,
in that space,
like, look at
200
that.
people
Yeah.
is
Well,
like nothing.
I know, when we saw that, it was like, oh my God, 11:30 in the morning.
But I remember how sad you were, because it was like, we've got this amazing show and this amazing equipment and this incredible stage, and like,
Yeah.
what a missed opportunity, because no one's going to see
Yeah.
it.
It was really, really tense. But you really knew what was going on.
Well, I didn't until
You
much
went
later.
outside,
This is
yeah.
the sound check before. I didn't know what was happening till later.
That's the only point in the movie that
This was
anybody
like
talks right to the camera.
This was like 9 o'clock in the morning. This was ahead of the show. Yeah, and it really did sound like that out there. It was thunderous. It was. I mean, in Japan, they just do concert sound and light so brilliantly. The sound was.
Look at us, we're just already pacing.
The
Let's go.
catering guys. Meantime, there's no one around still, and I went outside and I found. While this was going on, I went and I found.
This walk was really, really tense.
I found a lot of people waiting, and they were just all flooding in 20
You
minutes.
could see that by looking at this. There's no way that we could know whether there's people there, as you can see with all the.
But I remember filming this, and I knew ahead of time because I'd been to the security barricades. But at this point, there was a lot of
even
shuffling.
when I came around right to here, you couldn't
hear nobody.
You can't hear anybody
Because the Japanese are so polite, and they just sort of stood there. Like, there was a bit of shuffling, and you felt something, but you did not feel what was about to come. It was like.
It was, for me, it was pretty well right about now where I realized.
Suddenly they sensed you
my
coming,
God.
and then they
It was
all
it's
like
oh my
erupted.
God,
You
what's
threw on
going
your
on?
guitar.
Look at this.
There's
You
those
can see that
people.
from Rob's angle that
Yeah.
he could actually see it.
And then when we saw that, it was like, oh, fuck, what's
And
going
they
on?
went completely
I
crazy.
just went right down onto the floor.
As you always do. And look at that, man.
Oh, yeah. Now we're alive.
And it was a great show, and obviously we wanted to keep the mystery of the band back a little bit, so we just made the finale short and sweet and made it the signature Anvil song, Metal on Metal.
Right.
And the thing that was amazing for us, obviously, was the symmetry of beginning in Japan and ending in Japan. And I always said, we've got to somehow find a way to intermesh the past and the present together. So starting in the present, going back to the past and back again.
It was,
as it's coming
amazing.
up.
It's amazing how you guys did that.
Well, technically, it was, we go.
Like
You
right
see,
here.
it seems seamless, but we had to really sync up the footage, and also you were playing it much quicker back then, and we had to sort of segue naturally, and it was just so much work to make everything match up in the audio and the picture. And I remember we spent weeks getting that cut, making that feel seamless. And you see all the old and the new Anvil fans, a lot of people who were there at the original shows, and people were freaking out. And you see this is the final show of the night, and actually...
And you'll see Sushi.
Yeah, I think you see him.
He's coming up.
And the best part for me was when you invited
You'll
me up
see
on...
him lift. There he is, right there.
The best part for me was inviting me up on stage, and I jammed School Love with you guys that very night as the encore.
And see the
right,
way Ivan is
just
the
right
last
before that.
to come up to us like he's
And you can see that
still
on the
holding
DVD.
his cord.
And I love this, man. And we just immediately after the show, we went to Shibuya, and there was this magical feeling. It was, the light was incredible. Look at the light there. It was about 5:30 in the afternoon.
Perfect time of day where the sky isn't black. It's
awesome camera work here too.
Well, you had just great people. Amazing. Jeremy Benning did an amazing job on Steadicam. And I got you guys right out in the middle of the Shibuya.
Who you're willing to work with and having a good time with my
This really sums it all up.
I love Japan. I still love Japan.
And the most valuable things in life.
That's a great city.
But the final shot that's coming up momentarily is the shot that I'm most proud of in the whole film, because look at this. I mean, that was just such a magical moment being there, and just, it was so pure. These two 14-year-old kids,
Right.
They made it, man. They made it to Oz. It was just magical. We were all in tears, we were all in tears. And we just had CT over the other night. We played the Shepherd's Bush Empire, the film, and the band. It was great. And
Finally,
Thumbhang is
we're gonna
is
record
demoed, but you have to
we're
record it
gonna put it on the soundtrack CD.
David Norland, with excellent work from David Torn as well, who worked on the score earlier on, did some great stuff.
Dizzy Tizzy.
I don't know what to say. She's fantastic. Thank you for Tiziana. Matt Dennis, amazing dude. Dana, great stuff. There's Adam, the lawyer. I love all this stuff at the end part.
I started out with
It's G5's old apartment.
Yeah.
Before he moved into the practice
Before he moved
place.
into the practice place with the sleeping bag, watching the Super Rock footage.
15 minutes of fame, and then it's gone. So that's the way I kind of look at it.
I
So
just love this
I was
moment.
lucky enough to have that moment.
You know, a man who's been to hell and back, and whatever happens, he's happy with his place in the world, and his wife's by his side. It says it all.
and gave me a career that's 30 years long. So it was a great achievement, a fantastic achievement, nothing to ever look down at or not to be proud of. And that's the way I really look at it.
You don't think about it, you know, like life flies by, man. That's all I'm learning here, you know.
Boy, does it ever.
I know.
Done.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem that long.
It was a moment ago we're shooting, and here we are in London doing the DVD commentary.
The music lasts forever.
That's a great.
Maybe the debt does too, but the bottom
I love
line is
that.
the music lasts.
And you're right, man. It does. Fuck the debt.
Yeah, the music lasts totally
The
forever.
film lasts forever.
Yeah.
The debt on the film may exist. I paid for the film, by the way, out of
He
my
broke all
own
the
pocket.
rules.
I broke all the rules, and I'm pleased I did. And there's Slash. But Robert, you have to tell me what you think of the next bit of music coming up. You know, particularly in reference to the drumming.
Well, it's a sweet job by Gomez, really.
Gomez is my nickname, my new Anvil nickname.
Yeah,
Do you like
T-Bag.
this drumming? A little bit of Phil Collins. I'd like to rock the early
Who's
80s.
the Earl of Warwick?
Yeah, those Ghost Strokes sound really good, man.
Guy Warwick. And of course, that's my grandmother, Georgia Gibbs, singer, my dad and mum and uncle, grandfather. And there's a great memory for me. Great memory for me.
In the back of that van.
And Rob took the photo.
Yeah, it's out of my photo album.
Rob took the photo. So that's it, guys. The Anvil DVD commentary with...
Hope you all enjoy it.
Come see the band live. That's all you need
Absolutely.
to do. That's the point. Come see
We'll
the
see
band
you
live.
in concert. Show up.
And they'll meet you after. Bye.